those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. San Diego Sports 760. A busy morning in the NFL. We wake up to the sound of the axe falling. A lot of roster cuts. We'll update you there. Also, Padres spring training. It continues on. Still not a lot of answers to very important questions. We'll get to that. But first, we talk about the San Diego State Aztecs, who are a day away from finishing up their regular season. The Aztecs, obviously fresh off a loss on the road to UNLV, have senior night coming up tomorrow night. Tip off at 7 right here on your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. And Brian Dutcher becomes Cal State University's highest paid employee. Just got broke off on a new 5-year deal. Wow. Well earned, Coach Dutcher. SDSU's future is secured. Again, Steve Fisher came to San Diego State when success was, well, we were a far cry from calling this program a success.
It was actually more of a dumpster fire.
That would be how most would describe it in college basketball. Steve Fisher came here probably now getting close to 20 years ago and completely gentrified the college basketball neighborhood. He took the Wolverines playbook and basically spilled it out into the hearts and minds of the athletes he brought in, helped this program, gain favor nationally. The recruitment began to start yielding some stars like Kawhi Leonard. And what ended up happening is this mid-major that nobody was talking about is on the tongues of every sports writer, every broadcaster who covers college basketball every single March. And it's because of the work that Steve Fisher put in all those years ago. But then off his bench, after spending nearly 20 years as his assistant,
it's crazy.
Brian Dutcher gets his opportunity and he bears the torch now, but pushes it farther and deeper, reaching heights that Steve Fisher could not achieve during his time as the head coach. And again, this is no slight to Steve Fisher, but the student became the master, and Brian Dutcher has done a phenomenal job in his stead, and he's earned this contract extension.
Here, man. You couldn't have said it any better. Brian Dutcher has done like you said, a phenomenal job. Hats off. He has brought so many eyeballs to San Diego State. He has brought so much excitement to the city. He absolutely deserves it. So cheers, buddy.
What's awesome about Dutch is he was an assistant coach until he was 58 years old. And he just stuck with the system because he could have left earlier. He could have gone and got a head coaching job somewhere else, but he believed in what Steve Fisher was building. He believed in what was happening here at San Diego State. So the clause here, do you remember the last contract that Dutch signed, which the Aztecs wanted to keep him for a long, long time? He had a buyout that was a certain rate for everywhere in the country. And then he had a buyout for it's Minnesota, the school that he could have gone back to?
Yep, that's where his dad, I believe, coached.
And it was a significantly smaller buyout. In current contract, he is locked into San Diego State, meaning if some school wants to come get him, no matter who it is, they're going to have to pay out the wazoo to get him. Yeah, that is true if they want to buy into his contract, if he wants to buy out of his contract, vice versa, but also San Diego State. San Diego State is basically shackled to Brian Dutcher for the next 5 years. Which is a good thing.
I'm not saying it is a bad thing, but there is no question that is going to be a difficult contract to rip up if they ever want to, which I don't forecast they will, because it's reload every year. This guy finds a way to fill his team with talented transitional players out of the transfer portal. He does a great job in high school recruitment, and he has already a wellspring of young players on this roster who are going to carry the torch for this Aztecs basketball team into a bright future next year in the 24-25 season.
Look, is there any question, though, that he's not worth the money? No question at all. I mean, it's this seems like such a slam dunk, such an easy one. I'm beyond happy here.
And what's hilarious is that Dutch wasn't the highest paid coach of the Mountain West going into this season, like Steve Alford was. And so you look at around the Mountain West and the success that San Diego State has had. And Richard Pitino at one point this season said, yeah, I blame the Mountain West being this good and this tough to play in on Brian Dutcher because of what the Aztecs have built. And so he deserves to be this guy because along with Steve Fisher and now to Brian Dutcher, they are the reason that the Mountain West has become such a powerful conference.
Tie it to something that a lot of people pay attention to in San Diego. And I'm not saying that, obviously, many people pay attention to the San Diego State Aztecs basketball team. But if you're the type of college basketball fan who starts checking in around this time, you start looking at bracketology, I get it. Look, that's how I used to be too before I covered this team. So, yeah, everybody's starting to all right, what does Lombardi have to say about this? Here we go. Let's get rolling. But the deal is, when you pay attention to what's happened on the Mesa for a long time, what this looks like to me in the Mountain West is what the AFC West looks like to me right now, which is the Kansas City Chiefs have become the chase horse. Everybody's after their Mahomes. So the Chargers go out and they draft Justin Herbert, replacing their Phillip Rivers, right? The Chargers had to make an answer to that. Denver Broncos trade for the Russell Wilson, didn't work out, but you see there's a reaction to every action.
Yeah. Then they go get Sean Payton.
Well, that's my point. You get Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We're gonna get Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. We're gonna get Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Like, around this division, all of a sudden the Chiefs are the chase horse. So everybody is making moves. I mean, the Raiders have now changed up their head coach 3 times in the Andy Reid era, going with Gruden first and then going to Josh McDaniels, 2 high prize signings at head coach. Neither of them worked out for different reasons, very different reasons, but I'm still looking for that quarterback now for the Raiders. But that's what happens in the Mountain West. It's the same thing that's happening. The San Diego State Aztecs are the Kansas City Chiefs of the Mountain West.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. They're sitting at the top of the mountain. Everybody else is trying to climb that mountain, and you got to put in pieces, or you got to get the tools and the equipment to climb the mountain better than the other guy if you want to get to the top. And that's exactly what's happening, and has happened. And it's, man, we are benefactors of it.
No, yeah.
We're just sitting here reaping in the rewards. So this, I mean, honestly, congratulations, San Diego State. Good job.
From Mark Ziegler's UT article yesterday, 11 months after leading San Diego State to the national championship game for the first time in school and conference history, men's basketball coach Brian Dutcher received the big money contract many expected, making him the highest paid employee in California State University system, thanks to an 8-figure buyout deterring power conference programs from poaching him. It's basically a $10 million deal with a $10 million buyout.
And he's stuck in a good way.
Yeah, in the best way possible.
What's the right way to say stuck to make it a positive thing?
You're home.
You're home.
Yeah.
God, Richard, that was beautiful.
Wow. Man, oh man, you should write songs.
You know what?
Poetry.
We plan to.
Dutch was on with John and Jim yesterday in the afternoon, and I just happened to be in the car when I turned it on. It was great timing, but Dutch was talking about San Diego itself and how much the fan base of the San Diego State Aztecs basketball team has really embraced the team since Steve Fisher was out there handing out tickets, which is a story that gets told every single year, but literally handing out tickets, and then he would find a bunch of them in the trash can because people didn't want to go. From that to this, where Viejas Arena is completely packed every single time San Diego State plays there. The show is one of the most feared student sections in the entire country. The way the support is coming from the city, Dutch was talking about how he was just so humbled to be here, and now he's humble and rich.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, you're not a poor man as a head coach of a powerhouse in college basketball, but now, I mean, this is the sort of wealth on the other side of collecting this entire contract that sets up generations of Dutchers, which, look, it's well earned. Like we discussed to start this conversation, does he deserve it? The answer is yes.
There's a Mountain West team in the national championship a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, this conference, like all of these coaches will remind you, is better because Brian Dutcher is a part of it. So raise a glass. We will tomorrow on a Bar Cart Friday, brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego.
It's already a Bar Cart Friday.
This week has flown by.
Wow.
Flown by. And you know what? Actually, this is, I want to veer off of San Diego State to talk about the comments of Nick Saban recently, because these are kind of hand in glove. So Nick Saban was talking about the reasons why he departed from Alabama. Okay, and if you haven't saw these comments, they were damning about the state of college football, but about the state of college sports, especially if we're talking about profit or revenue generating sports. He said after the national championship loss, or actually it wasn't it was the semifinal loss to Michigan. Wait, who did they play? Was it Alabama, Michigan?
Alabama, Michigan
It was,
in the first
yeah.
round.
Yeah, Jalen Monroe. That's right. It was down the left side. It doesn't matter. Anyways, the point is,
Okay, breaking down the final play.
Yeah. Alabama loses to Michigan, and they are on the doorstep of the national championship. And obviously, Nick Saban is dejected. He wishes that it was different. And instead of having a lot of players mourning the loss of a season just played, he's got a bunch of players coming to his office and saying, hey, how much money can I get if I play next year?
Here's the quote from Nick. He said, quote, I thought we could have a hell of a team next year. Then maybe 70 or 80% of the players you talk to, all they want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring? And how much are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, I get it. I get his gripe. I get what he's saying. I don't disagree with what he's saying. At the same time, this is where college football is going.
Yeah.
They're not going to be just student athletes anymore. They will be paid athletes to be there, which I mean, we've talked about in length here. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. However, it is bad in these certain situations. Nick Saban, unfortunately, just didn't want to change with the times.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So he said bye.
Well, he said, so I'm saying to myself, maybe this doesn't work anymore, that the goals and aspirations are just different. And it's all about how much money can I make as a college football player. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that it's never been what we were about. And that's not why we had success through the years. What you just said, TD, is exactly right. This is a guy who has an unbending will. He's not willing to change for the times. He sees it one way, and these changes are really confusing and jarring to his system that has worked peerlessly over his span of time as a head coach. Brian Dutcher represents that you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That somebody who's been ingrained in a business and done it a certain way for a long time can amend with the times. And that's the reason why he's being compensated the way he is. And that's the reason why San Diego State will continue to have success.
And I've heard that Nick Saban, very slow to text. It's very difficult on his flip phone.
Yeah. T9 texting, really difficult. Well, the Buffalo Bills cut safety Jordan Poyer, center Mitch Morse, cornerback Siren Neal, wide receiver and returner Deontay Hardy, running back Naheem Hines, all of that yesterday. All right. They also released cornerback Tre'Davious White. That's a big name off their defense. And they worked on the contract to pass rusher Von Miller, who agreed to a renegotiated incentive-laden contract. All of these moves were made in an effort to get under the salary cap. The Buffalo Bills entered the day yesterday $40 million over the cap. Update from Denver, and we're going to be getting into this. So the Denver Broncos, free agency begins obviously in a week, but the Denver Broncos have given soon-to-be-released quarterback Russell Wilson full permission to immediately begin speaking and meeting with other teams in their home cities. So per sources, Russell Wilson's free agency begins now.
Why wouldn't they? I mean,
yeah.
I know, but I get it. They don't have to, but why wouldn't you? Hey, you're fired. Don't start looking for work yet, though, man. Are you crazy?
What do you say? You're holding your resume?
Yeah.
Put that down for a week, you big idiot. Yeah. So Russ, now it's full go. It's absolutely full go. He could go wherever he wants. He can visit with whoever he wants. Here's the embarrassing part. I'm very curious if Russell Wilson gets the go ahead, he gets the nod. He can steal home. We're telling you.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, yeah, but nobody's calling.
Yeah. I don't think I should.
Yeah.
I know. I'm curious as well. I mean, there's already some rumors floating around about where he might end up. I think the Raiders are at the top of that list. And it does seem like that would be beneficial to the Raiders. And Russell Wilson, again, you look at the stats, not a bad quarterback. The problem with Russell Wilson, in my personal opinion, was that first year, they let him come in, they let him rule the roost. And I think there was some attitude that was brought along with him. And he was built up as being a savior to the Denver Broncos, and it didn't work out. And he fell from grace very, very quickly. They tried to throw good money after bad. They threw a a gigantic head coach in there with him to try to help him. It still didn't solidify the team, even though the numbers looked okay, which racked up to losses. The problem I'm looking at with the Denver Broncos is, well, again, my team that I root for, when they put Peyton Manning in, when they went ahead and brought him over to put together a complete team, there was still some issues there with the Denver Broncos, but it was kind of like they were doing a remodel to the house. They knew that they had a roof that was going to start leaking in the next couple years, but if they could just patch it up with Peyton Manning for a couple years, maybe they could make it work. They did. It worked. Peyton Manning leaves. All of a sudden that roof starts to leak. They're trying to do some patchwork along the way. They got a few pieces that work. They got a few pieces that don't, but they're trying. And they go, you know what? Let's just do this over again. Let's try to get another Peyton Manning in here. That'll fix the problem. Russell Wilson isn't Peyton Manning. It doesn't work. I still look at this going, Sean Payton is just patchwork. I don't think he's the answer. I think they need to pull that thing down to the sticks and start over.
Yeah, but then you owe all this money in dead cap, the most ever, $85 million to Russell Wilson. That affects your salary cap and your ability to sign quality players in the future. And then you owe an enormous amount of money to Sean Payton after trading with the Saints. So they can't. The answer, TD, is, I mean, I understand as a fan you're upset, but you can't tear it down. You know, you've invested too much. And don't get me wrong, like there are times where it's good to cut bait and fish in a different hole, and that's what they're doing with the Russell Wilson situation. But a complete tear down, firing Sean Payton after a year, it would be a disaster. So I think what the Denver Broncos should do, that they will do, is get young and cheap in a lot of key positions and hope to build with Sean Payton during this time to set the culture. And I really do feel like that's the most important word. I think Russell Wilson brought in a culture that Nathaniel Hackett couldn't usurp because he had more sway in the room.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett was a rookie head coach getting his first hacks at doing this, and it failed miserably. And I think some of that blame is obviously on Nathaniel Hackett for not being ready, but a good deal of that blame could be on Russell Wilson for taking too much control, ceding too much territory in the space.
Or then you could put blame on the front office there in Denver of letting that happen. So, I mean, it could have very easily said, yeah, Russ, you're coming over. But yeah, I see your request for your own personal office. That doesn't happen here. We don't give that away.
Unfortunately, if it would have worked, it would have been great moves by the front office, right?
If it would have worked, you wouldn't even have heard of these things.
It would have been, oh man, Russell Wilson's a culture builder.
Right.
Now, if you're a team like the Steelers or the Raiders or the Commander, like one of these teams that's looking for a quarterback, would you rather get Russell Wilson on the cheap because it's going to be really cheap to sign him, or would you rather get Kirk Cousins, who's a little more proven, at least lately?
I think Kirk Cousins obviously is the top priority if you're looking for a quarterback.
He's going to cost a lot more. He's going to cost like what a quarterback costs.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson's going to cost nothing.
But look at the love that he has in Minnesota.
Exactly.
Like, look at that culture that he would automatically bring.
Exactly.
And when you look at Denver, after they say that Russell Wilson's gone, it wasn't everybody's happy. I mean, all of a sudden there were hand raises of like, yeah, I want to go too. So, I mean, you know, there's other problems there besides their quarterback.
Well, and that happens at all times. You know, anytime there's a head coach that moves on or a quarterback that moves on, you know, players fall out of favor. Like all of a sudden a player that maybe Russell Wilson or a coach, if a coach is fired, was being protected, they want to leave too. It's a strange thing, the any workplace, but in the NFL especially, changes happen so often. There's such turnover with these rosters that, you know, when it's supposed to be a player that's supposed to carry on for who knows? I mean, if it worked out with Russ in Denver, it could have been a decade, and it doesn't. That's a huge gravity shifting change. Minnesota's going through it. Kirk Cousins has been there for as long as certain people have even been interested in football in the Minnesota area. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they react. Minnesota's a team. If Kirk Cousins does move on in free agency, which it looks like he will, will Minnesota be looking for a Russell Wilson on the cheap? Take a flyer on a guy like that? Yeah.
Can you imagine, though, again, going back to the culture, the attitude of the team, taking the Kirk Cousins out of it and then putting in Russell Wilson, where you know that you're sending good away for what's been called bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah, or the Steelers. I mean, that is a set culture. Mike Tomlin is a culture setter.
That was what Brock Heward was saying yesterday on the Herd. He was saying if Russ wants to save his gold jacket, if he wants to save his career and turn it around, he needs to go somewhere a culture's already set. And his example was Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And he said the Steelers rely heavily on a run game and a great defense. Russ wouldn't have to do nearly as much as he was asked to do in Denver. And it could be the perfect situation for him to get back to what he was successful at in Seattle.
I got to think that would be a gamble for Mike Tomlin. I mean, that's like he's pushing all his chips right in the middle of the table there because, in my personal opinion, his seat's pretty hot this year.
Well, it's like, who do you want to hitch your wagon to? Because in a lot of ways, head coaches, the Hall of Fame head coaches, and Mike Tomlin's already a Hall of Famer. I mean, let's face it. He's done enough. If he retires now, he's going to Canton.
Done enough good ones.
He's done enough good ones. But yeah, like when you start thinking about Hall of Fame coaches, what do they all have in common? Greatness at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this goes. This game is very simple. You have to be a very competent head coach, but you also need a great quarterback.
And when you lose your quarterback, you end up at high school cheer competitions.
And that's exactly where Bill Belichick is right now. And the Northridge girls are next to the stage.
Dude, the picture TMZ got of him, he looks so awkward and uncomfortable. And that might just be how he always looks. It just looks better on an NFL sideline, but at a cheer event, well, Bill Belichick.
No, but it's true though. Look, I'll give you an example. As a former NFL football player, like I'm a large guy, usually the biggest in the room. At my son's elementary school, I'm the guy at the library once a month who comes in and reads to the kids. Like, certain people just look out of place in certain places. You know, if you brought a Viking to like a St. Louis Obispo wedding, you would just, and not a Minnesota Viking, like one from Scandinavia,
right.
You know, with a bloody beard and a double-sided axe, you would be like, yeah, you know what? That guy who showed up on the longboat, who's he? Which is that, groom or bride? Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what side you sit on here.
So Belichick, yeah, that's right. You could, anywhere, partner.
Yeah.
Just not right down the aisle. You're making everyone uncomfortable. Belichick at a cheer competition is jarring, I would argue.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, listen,
I want more of that.
If he becomes a cheerleading coach, I swear to God,
there better be a Netflix special.
We've got a pair of tickets to Outlaw Music Festival. If you're in the mood to go, sucking on chill dog.
The Belichicks.
29th. The Belichicks.
I guess they're not all girls, though.
We got a pair of tickets to Outlaw Music Festival, July 29th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. Tickets available at livenation.com. Keep listening.
Good show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for that one.
Also, a pair of tickets to see Shamrock downtown St. Patty's Day, March 16th. The Shamrock celebration takes over the Gas Lamp. San Diego Shamrock.com for tickets and info. You're going to win a pair of those as well. Coming up next, though, we got to get into this storyline. What does Larry David and the San Diego Padres have in common?
Bum, bum, bum.
So much more than you think. We'll explain next.
Hey, if you're an avid golfer, you're looking to play more golf and create some lasting relationships while you're at it, you got to sign up at primetimes.golf today. Primetimes.golf. Head over to the website right now because they got an awesome event going on this weekend out at the Vineyard up in Escondido. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. Sunny, 67 degrees on Saturday. The event will tee off at 10 a.m. And if you have not played Vineyards before, it's one of the hidden gems of golf in San Diego. Beautiful course, not overcrowded, reasonably priced, and a very friendly, welcoming feel to the place and the staff. And now is your time to get in. We are less than 72 hours away from this event. There are still spots available. That means if you sign up for Value Golf today on primetimes.golf, you pay the $50, book the tee time for $20. You are getting 2 more rounds of golf this month for $20 a pop at some of the nicest courses in San Diego. Do the math with me. That's $110 for 3 rounds of golf. It's ridiculous. But the upcoming events, they're at Arrowwood, Coronado, Golf Club of California, Twin Oaks, and San Marcos. Back at the Vineyards, it's an awesome, awesome program that will create pairings and foursomes with the best strategic alignment for you to be golfing with people that it makes sense for you to golf with. There's open seating tables reserved for you and all the other people playing at the clubhouse after the golf. Please register right now. So at primetimes.golf, they'll work on the optimal pairings and the groupings so it makes sense who you are playing your round with. Whether you're looking for networking golf, you're looking for value golf, primetimes.golf is the place to go. This event is the first thing you will see that pops up on the website right now at primetimes.golf. You can get in, Sign up for $50, play for $20, $70, you're getting on a $100 course. Go over to primetimes.golf today, primetimes.golf, and sign up.
What do Larry David and the Padres have in common? We'll explain coming up next.
This update is presented by Silk. Feel planty good. Shop wherever you find groceries. We will start off here with Aztecs Hoops head coach Brian Dutcher signing a new contract, making him the highest paid employee in the California State University system after a national championship run last year. The Aztecs head basketball coach staying on the Mesa through the 27-28 season. Congrats to Dutch and his family. NBA Warriors beat the Bucks 125-90. Lakers fall to the Kings last night at Crypto.com 130-120. LeBron left that game late with what he called a lingering ankle issue. Padres, they lose to the Reds yesterday 6-2 in Cactus League play. Silk's delicious plant-based beverages help bring a daily dose of goodness to help you feel plenty good. They're rich in calcium and a good source of vitamins A and D to support the health of you and your family. Shop wherever you find groceries.
Big Rich, DD and Flash. Big Rich, DD and Flash. Next Rich is not working. We can't play any sound.
Royalty free.
Yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, our computer stopped working halfway through that, so
This might be a
Big Rich,
long
DD and
segment.
Flash. It's San Diego Sports 760. Getting ready for the unbroken segment. This is now a telethon.
This is a show that doesn't end.
Do they-
Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
Do they want us just to read the commercials from now on?
Some people started listening, not knowing what it was, but we'll continue talking sports forever just because this is a show that doesn't end. All right.
An update up at Big Bear, by the way, snowed last night.
Oh,
snowed
yeah.
last night. Yeah, we got, we still have three eggs.
That is, I thought that was cocaine. I thought they
Yeah,
had a
it was-
wild rager.
It was a wild night up in Eagle Land, USA, Big Bear, California, as
Those
we check in
Eagles
live.
are sky high.
It was just there was like a Colombian drug cartel airplane that exploded over the tree.
Yeah.
It rained down cocaine.
I remember Sandy Steer, or I should say, I wish Sandy Steers came on today, and she goes, "Well, as it turns out, they are Colombian bald eagles. We thought they were
Not American. Not American.
Yeah.
So, but still three eggs. There's no little eaglet there yet.
Well, now it's freezing cold.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean I guess if I was a little eaglet, I'd be like, yeah, I'll wait till it warms up.
It is amazing how much less they move when there's snow everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the eagle can't.
wow.
Wow.
Is
Yelling
that a
out.
yawn or is that a
I
scream?
believe that there was a noise there.
That's
on
a
that.
yawn.
Well, turn up the volume and back it up 10 seconds.
It's so funny that every time the eagle opens its beak for an extended amount of time, Ben always goes, "Oh, he's yawning." I always think it's going, "Oh!"
I think the same thing. I think that's Mama Eagle asking Dad Eagle to come in and sit for a bit because she's got to stretch her legs.
Just picturing an
Yeah.
eagle screaming like a grown man who just stubbed his toe for whatever
Right.
reason gets me.
Right.
So check this out. The Padres have a lot to work on before they leave for South Korea. We've covered this. Like, for example, will young outfielder Jackson Merrill be ready to make the opening roster? Or how about this?
Wait,
little-
Merrill?
yeah. Merrill? How about this little ditty? Will there be any free agent acquisitions or trades? I know. It gets more compelling from there. How about this one? Who will fill out the Padres rotation? These are all really good questions that we don't have answers to
Yeah,
yet.
questions that have no end.
How about this? Manny Machado hasn't played third base all spring. That's weird. He's only been DHing. Will he play third base?
It might be a while before he actually does play in the infield. Remember, he's coming off that
Crazy.
surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Tennis elbow.
So
Yeah,
here's the
tennis
other
elbow.
deal. During the trip to Seoul, South Korea, how many days off are there?
So they're going to be playing against Korean teams for a little
Right.
bit. So they're going to keep spring training going, just not against other
That is cool.
Major League
Oh,
Baseball
yeah.
teams.
Oh, super cool.
Which
But
I
I'm
think is
saying,
because they're going like a week early.
yeah, but you have at least a day for flight, right?
Dude, if they don't come home with at least 3 Koreans, they're doing this the wrong way. Like, I mean, you need
like-
players.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a recruitment
And so
mission.
if they
That's how
play
it feels
against a
to
team
me.
and they get shut out by that team, they're like, we're taking your pitcher.
Yeah, oh, that's a good call.
dude, 1000%. If I'm AJ Preller, if I'm Mike Schilt, I'm scouting our opponents for players to start on our baseball team.
Do you think you can get him on the cheap?
I have no idea how it works in Korea. All I know is that at this point, that's what it feels like the trip's about. It's like we're expanding the borders of baseball, or you're going to sign players because you don't have enough yet.
What if you just said like, "Hey guys, great game. Why don't you guys, hop on the bus with us? We're just gonna go check out San Diego," and then they just come out here for a little bit.
They just trick them.
They just play out here for a little bit.
Like hot dogs. Hot dogs. Okay.
Listen, I'm in.
You got
That's a great plan.
You hand out a bunch of Ha-Sung Kim bobbleheads. You make good, and then you just disappear. And they're like, I think they took all of our best players.
There's only like 4 guys left out there. Did you guys see the different hats that they made for these games?
I hate them.
Okay, you hate which ones?
The ones that have the Dodgers and the Padres symbol on the same hat.
Same.
I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
That I agree. However, that isn't made for us. That is made for the Korean fans of baseball.
Yeah.
Where you're getting the 2 for 1. But the ones that just say Padres, but it's written in Korean,
Those are sick.
those are cool.
I'd buy one.
Yeah, they do the same thing for Dodgers. But yeah, no, I agree. The putting both logos on one hat, I kind of made my head spin.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's like, if you show up to a bowl game, for example, between USC and Ohio State, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy the hat with both because I'm a fan of football.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Yeah, that's right. Did you enjoy your time? That's what I want to know. Did you enjoy your time?
I don't even need to keep score.
So check this out. Coincidentally, at the same exact time the Padres season is getting started, a great show is ending. So Curb Your Enthusiasm enters its final season. And I want to ask this question, and maybe this is in conjunction with some of the concerns we have for the Padres coming up this season. What is the thing in your life, Larry David? Everything that's happening right now.
Right.
But is there something that it's like it could be a minor complaint that you make way too big in your life?
Well, I feel like it's a complaint that I make almost every day of my life. And for some reason, now I think they're just colluding against me.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people load the dishwasher wrong? Okay? Listen.
You are speaking my language right now.
The spoons go up, the knives go down. Let's just put all the same glasses that are the same type of glasses just in a row. It doesn't need to go all over the place. By the way, the bowls, if you don't put them the right way, fill up with water.
Why is that so hard?
I don't know. It drives me absolutely nuts. Like when I do the dishes, every time I have to now fix the dishwasher. So I'm starting over. You might as well just let me do it.
I literally had a Larry David moment yesterday. Kendall and I were rewatching Dune 1. We want to go see Dune 2 in theaters. It's supposed to be awesome.
I didn't think I made through like 4 minutes of Dune 1.
Oh, I've seen it 3 times now. It's freaking awesome.
Wow. Did you get the popcorn bucket?
No, I haven't been to Dune 2 yet.
Are you going to get the Dune 2 popcorn?
Yeah. If you get the Dune 2 popcorn bucket,
I'll bring it for you guys after.
Yeah. Get 3.
Get extra butter.
Yeah. You got it. But I was sitting there watching Dune 1.
You don't know what we're talking about. Look it up.
A familiar face pops up on the screen again. Jason Momoa, who is awesome in that movie.
He's going to be here tomorrow.
But he's clean shaven.
Oh.
And I'm like, Khal Drogo, who he played in Game of Thrones, has this awesome beard. Pretty much every other role that Jason Momoa has played, Aquaman, which are terrible movies, but he has an awesome beard. And then you see him in Dune, and you're like, this guy's kind of a bitch. And Kendall's sitting there like, oh, he's hot. And I'm like, I literally had the Larry David,
Wait, so did you like him in Dune?
I thought he did a really good job acting. It didn't look like Jason Momoa.
I don't know if I've liked anything from Jason Momoa other than Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. I got stuff for you to watch.
Yeah.
Like what?
Give me a minute. I'll get
like the Apple 1C or whatever it was.
Awesome show.
Wasn't into it.
Awesome show.
Lost me. Super bored.
That's where everyone is blind except for Jason Momoa's 2 kids, and he goes and kills everybody while he's blind. They have like 1 scene per episode. That's some of the coolest action you'll ever watch.
It feels a lot like Quiet Place, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know, it worked. Let's try to do it without sight."
I'm gonna give you my peccadillo. This gets me every time. I love my wife. I love my kids.
Uh-oh.
I'm not allowed to sit down in my house.
What?
I'm not allowed to. If dad sits down, Dad's immediately foisted back into action. Okay, so as I said, I announced it yesterday. I announced
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Because this is how rare of an opportunity it is to actually sit down. Like when mom sits down, nobody bugs her.
No, blanket comes out.
Oh my God, yeah. Like people come over and cuddle with her. I announced it. I go, oh man, I've been on my feet since 4 a.m. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes and then I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. So I sit down and immediately something drops. There's spill everywhere. There's water all over paperwork. And then I this is what I hear. Oh, no, don't touch that. Okay, the oranges are wet, so no, not right now. Okay, daddy's gonna help mommy, and then you'll get your popsicle. But you need to get out of the kitchen. It was 30 seconds. And it was like, no way. I was like, it's a plant. She knocked the cup over on purpose. It felt like the
String on it.
Oh, yeah. It felt like in A Christmas Story where she goes, I don't know how the lamp broke, honey. It was wild. This happens every time. Okay, I lay down at night. Can you turn off the light? Yes. I turn off the light. Get back in bed. Ooh.
Can you fill up my Stanley?
Yeah.
You know what's fun?
Water?
You know what's
sparkling.
fun?
Please, sparkling.
Oh.
Get me a spindrift. A spindrift, please. Lemon.
I'll be in bed.
Yeah.
And then and Sarah will then get in bed after me and leave the light on. And when she gets in bed, she'll say, "Are you going to turn the light off?"
I kid you not.
Every night.
I got woken up 2 nights ago. The TV was left on, not by me. And she goes, I get woken up, shaken awake, like, hey, wake up. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Huh? She goes, you need to find the remote. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, the TV's on. It's keeping me awake. I'm like, you sleep with an eye mask. Yeah, but I can see it like underneath like the little light. Please just find the remote. I'm like, you find the remote. She goes, no, you're better at it. My God.
You're better at it.
So I start searching the
You're
bed.
so good at finding the lost remote.
So get this. I start searching the bed for the lost remote. Can't find it. She starts getting annoyed that I keep asking her to move her legs to find the remote. So I'm like, wait a second. I was like, do you know what we have? We have a TV where it's a Roku. So we have the remote control on her phone. She's like, yeah, but I didn't want to get off the game I was playing. And now I'm just too tired. So maybe you do it. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
This really is Therapy Thursday.
Yeah. So we've done it.
Let him rip on the text line, by the way, 70470. Start your message with team. What is the Larry David thing in your life that really ticks you off? You could also use the iHeart Talkback feature. We'll play those a little later in the show. Open up the app, hit the little microphone button right next to the play button. When you're listening to San Diego Sports 760, you could leave us like a 30-second voicemail. A lot of fun. We want to hear them. What pisses you off?
Yeah, exactly right.
I like that we were going to give an updated spring training, but there is no update.
We did.
Yeah, there's literally no update.
They need a pitcher. We're not sure about Jackson Merrill yet, and also, I mean, like, well, who are they going to sign? They need to sign someone.
Same questions as yesterday.
Same ones.
Same ones as 3 months ago.
Yeah. That.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding,
Well,
They just haven't done anything.
I didn't know about Farrell Merrill though.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean that was a couple weeks ago.
How does a touching speech become even more touching? I didn't think it would be possible, but we've unearthed the story that we'll bring to you next. That is, I mean, you will have tears in your eyes. That's on the other side. But first, Fletch, tell you right now, man, you should get your ankles taped because, I mean, you look like an athlete these days.
No, I used to need my ankles taped just to get out of bed because my big fat body wouldn't be supported by my tiny little dainty ankles. But now it's no problem.
Tiny dainty
It
ankle.
was like a giant pink pig with tiny little hooves.
Tiny little hoops. Not anymore. And that's all thanks to Wayne and Chloe over at SDFatLoss.com. Wayne and Chloe at SDFatLoss.com will literally build you a roadmap to how to lose a bunch of weight in a very little amount of time. Like 2 months. That's really all it took for the three of us to each lose over 35 pounds. If you want to get in on SDFatLoss.com, just go to the website today. You can set up a free consultation with Wayne and Chloe where they'll walk you through all of the stuff that you need to know, all the roadmap that's personally fitted for you to start losing weight and start losing it in a hurry. If you're thinking about trying the latest fad medication, you know, the different injections or the different fad diets where they ship food to your door, don't do it, because most people don't realize that while you might lose weight in the short term, it's just from temporarily suppressing your hunger. As soon as you get off the drug, your frustration, your weight can come right back to haunt you. That's what we call yo-yo diets, and you do not want to do that. SDFatLoss.com. They have the secret for quick weight loss and, most importantly, lasting weight loss using their time-tested methods over literally tens of thousands of clients across the country. SD Fat Loss has broken the weight loss code, and they broke it with the three of us. We were all struggling with the weight. It was a huge point of insecurity in my life. It really was. And then with SDFatLoss.com, I'm walking around shirtless all the time now because I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the work that I put in to do it. If you want to have the same results, get on over to SDFatLoss.com today. Talk to Wayne and Chloe. It takes 20 minutes to talk to them, get everything set up for you, and then you're off and running. And by the way, if you don't lose any weight within the first 10 days, you get your money back. You get all your money back if you don't lose any weight. If the program doesn't work for you, they guarantee it will by giving you the money back offer. So go sign up today, SDFatLoss.com. Coming up next, the Jason Kelce retirement was powerful, emotional, awesome. It became more so. We'll tell you why.
As if his retirement wasn't touching enough, how he prepared for his retirement speech was even more touching. We'll explain.
Don't worry, guys. I got the computer back.
Yeah.
That's why I was just enjoying the sweet sounds of royalty-free music.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. So Jason Kelsey retires. And we all kind of misty-eyed watched as he delivered a very emotional speech saying goodbye to the sport he loved, wishing well to those he leaves behind, expressing love to those who supported him along the way, especially his wife, his children, and expressing that, you know, his next steps, his plan moving forward is going to be to invest himself in being the best father he can. Like, he said all the right things. But even before the speech occurred, he did the right things. So he has an athletic trainer, and I'm blanking on the name, but I'll open up the link here.
It is Joe Opella.
There it is, Joe Opella, athletic trainer with the Philadelphia Eagles, who worked with Jason Kelsey over the entirety of his career. He had a knee injury earlier in his career, and this trainer was like, we can't treat Jason like just any offensive lineman. Like, we got to treat him like the athlete he is and get this knee right, but get him up to speed like we would a tight end or a receiver or a running back or any of these more athletic positions, because he's not just plodding around as an offensive lineman. And that created a trust between Jason Kelsey and Joe that lasted an entire career. So Joe, unfortunately, the final season or just before the final season, Jason played in Philadelphia, got a cancer diagnosis, started getting aggressive treatment, including chemotherapy. And one of the rounds of chemotherapy came up during Kelsey's final game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe taped his ankles before every single game and could not be there for his final game. So Jason Kelsey, before he gave his retirement speech, asked his athletic trainer, Joe, one last time, could you tape me up for the big game? And so gives him the pre-wrap, and both of them shared a lot of tears and a lot of stories and a lot of hugs. And for one final time, dude, like this story just keeps hitting me in the field,
I know.
man.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting the chills. I'm getting misty-eyed. And the thing is, it's not like Jason Kelsey walked out and announces it. He's just out there, and somebody noticed his ankles taped. And then so that's the question that gets asked. Why'd you tape up your ankles? Just wanted that one last time? Not for me.
Yeah.
For me and Joe. Yeah.
Okay. No easy segues in sports talk.
Yeah,
but
you need a treatment right now.
yeah, I do. I feel like actually today's my day. So what I do is on Mondays and Thursdays, I get myself fired up with a little testosterone. Dude,
You need it.
I love this so much. I know. It's getting all
That story doesn't choke you up?
No,
What the heck?
that's
What's
why I
going
stayed
on?
quiet. It like does nothing for me.
How?
You guys are getting all this sappy feels. Oh, great.
I was literally telling Sarah this on the couch last night.
You ready for what I'm saying?
I could barely get through telling her the story, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know. That's dumb." I'm like,
Thank
what?
you.
What?
Wow. I don't even bring things up to Annie about this stuff anymore because she's like, yeah. Do you know how much dog poop there is on the front yard? Right, I'll get it.
It's like it's such a clicky story that was all over ESPN and on TikTok. Like, oh my god, how great of a guy is he? I'm like, yeah, we know he's a good guy.
Dude,
whatever.
I wanted to
He retired.
cry
Can we
in the
be
first
done?
paragraph of this thing.
You're insane. Did you read like from the athletic
no.
trainer his
Yeah,
post?
it's beautiful.
Holy
I guess.
cow. You are
Wow.
heartless.
Yeah.
Let's get my ankle tape so I can walk up on stage.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Well, I'll tell
Are
you
you
right now.
kidding me? That's
why
like
I
from
stayed-
a movie.
This is why I stayed quiet.
You know, we are
Richie,
planning.
tell me about how you need some serious medical intervention.
Yeah, we are planning to go engage in an athletic in Denver after this show.
In the Rocky Mountains?
In Endeavor. After the show, we are going to get after it.
Yeah, we are.
We don't want to give too many specifics yet. A video will be released soon. But it's perfect time to talk.
Showcasing our skills.
Oh yeah, athleticism, raw athletic talent. You're gonna see it all on display, and it's thanks to the good doctor over at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone, Dr. Roy David, double board certified plastic surgeon, but he is the medical director of the Man Zone, who's helping me out regain my athletic prowess through testosterone treatment. All right, so check this out. So a buddy of mine I was explaining to him all of these things I was going through, sluggish, brain fog, like just not feeling great in the gym. And he goes, dude, get your testosterone checked. I'm like, no way. I'm like, there's no chance, buddy. I'm all man. There's no way. Not me. No way, no how. Well, I went to the man zone. They're like, yeah, you're very low on the average scale. Like low average is what we would call you. And I was like, so what does that mean, Doc? And Doc Roy David and his staff said very kindly and very gently that I'm a candidate that I, at 37 years old, should start taking testosterone to optimize my health and my performance in everything that I do. And to be perfectly honest with you, I had no preconceived notions about what this would feel like. I figured it probably wouldn't affect me at all. I was way wrong. I need less coffee in the morning. I get out of bed feeling ready for the day. I like going to the gym again. I'm starting to see like the old shape of my body come to fruition, not this like, emptied out trash bag of a body that I've been dealing with for a couple of years now.
Yeah, you are.
So it's been good. It's been really good. So if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, this should be a part of your annual doctor's visits, right? Go to your medical doctor, of course, go get your physical done, but stop over at the Man Zone, have Dr. Roy David and his team test your testosterone, because it doesn't matter. Time marches on, you lose testosterone. That's how this works. It's a part of the aging process. So reclaim your health, reclaim your youth. Get to the Man Zone today. That's themanzone.com, themanzone.com.
This update presented by Dell Technologies. It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Beginning with Aztecs Hoops, head coach Brian Dutcher deserves a round of applause, signing a new contract, making him the highest paid employee in the CSU system after a national championship run last year. The Aztecs head basketball coach is locked into the Mesa through the 27-28 season. In the NBA, Warriors took down the Bucks 125-90. Lakers lose to the Kings in LA. And Padres lost to the Reds yesterday 6-2 in Cactus League. To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. Save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Save now at Dell.com/deals.
Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We are a day away from a Bar Car Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle. 10 locations around San Diego. Tony Conja's coming in, and we're going to be drinking on some Mercantile Irish whiskey. Woo! We got Gareth coming in. He's going to be providing the bartending services.
Shanky's Whip.
Shanky's Whip.
Sorry,
that's right.
Shanky's Whip.
Whip. You do pronounce the H. We discussed this earlier. We are in just a few minutes going to bounce around both conferences. We'll focus on the AFC today. The NFC is tomorrow to give our thoughts as rosters are being trimmed. We're still a month out basically from the NFL draft. Who's leading their divisions? And then we're going to do this again on the other side of the draft. You know, we'll give an update because the draft changes a lot. Now, we won't know what these rookies have in store for us until the season begins. Perfect example, what we saw this year between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. Obviously, one surged, one sank. But we will give an updated list on the other side of the draft. But before we get to any of that, morning monologues, and decidedly, Fletch has a flavor that is perfectly paired with this week. A little bit of a teaser there, but for your morning monologue, you're gonna dive into the Oscars.
Yeah, this is this probably should have been my Larry David thing that really ticks me off.
Oh boy.
You guys know about the swag bags that people at the Oscars get?
Yeah.
So
all
the nominees, every director, every actor, everybody who worked on any of these movies, everybody who goes up to the stage that would get awarded a prize. Even more than that, though, it's because it's everybody who's nominated for a prize gets one of these swag bags. And in the years past, they've been these extremely lavish, incredible bags with all these different toys and goodies from around the richest businesses in LA. I want you to take a guess at how much the swag bag is worth this year.
I'm going to say fair market value, tens of thousands of dollars. I'm going to say $80,000.
Okay.
Wow.
TD before the show guessed 30,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 30,000.
Those both would seem like way too much money to just give a Hollywood celebrity, right?
Well, I mean, it's just like just for showing up. You know, it's like you went to a kid's birthday party, you leave with a little bag of candy.
Yeah.
It's literally a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what the real value of these swag bags are?
What is it?
$180,000 a piece.
I was off by six figures and I said 80,000.
$180,000 a piece. I scrolled through it this morning and looked just what was in it. Like what could possibly equate to that amount of value?
Yes.
Well, they have
180,000 scratchers.
They have the world's like richest sugar that only comes from certain regions of Canada. They have free.
Why do you want that?
I don't know. A free trip to Switzerland for everybody, like a luxurious trip.
Okay.
A bunch of skincare products. I don't know, maybe a couple NDAs to keep them quiet. They have all sorts of different goodies and treats and sodas that are just the rich and famous. $180,000.
Okay, I'm looking through this link to the list. There's a tequila. There's a portable blender in there.
What kind of tequila?
a
Is it
portable
awesome? Is it
grill?
Awesome Broso?
They have a wine cooler for your house.
They have tart cherry gummies. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, how about this fetcha chocolates?
I can't look at anything. My
Those are
computer's
truffles.
frozen.
Sparkling water. All this stuff looks really, really spendy. Like it's all normal stuff. It's like collagen protein or tart cherry gummies or truffles. But I bet each one of these is like thousands of dollars on its own.
Yeah, and look, they want the celebrity that receives it to do an Instagram post with it in their hand.
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
saying, don't call it a swag bag anymore.
What
Because
are
none
those-
of this
what are
can
those
fit.
pretzels in a box.
None
though?
of it can fit in one bag. Like this is easily a truck worth of stuff.
Oh wow, the infrared grill. That
Dude,
thing
I
looks
know.
awesome.
I don't know if I like your take on this. I want to be nominated for an Oscar.
Thor Kitchen. Hashtag cook like a god. Oh my god. It's valued at $1,800.
Dude.
Good Lord. It's like a little toaster. Well, it's not little, but it's a toaster oven, I guess you put on your countertop. That's unbelievable.
That thing's awesome.
Oh, I guess that's a wine cooler. What the? Why would they call it Thor Kitchen?
Yeah, wait. I thought it looks like an oven.
It does look like an oven. Windy City Sweets. They got a little licorice. Yeah, look, it's opulent. It's supposed to be. It's the Oscars. These people are self-congratulatory in every single way.
So they're given a bag of gifts
Oh,
worth
dude.
more than 99% of American salaries.
Fame is a commodity. Fame is a commodity that can be traded on. I mean, at this point, there are people who are famous for being famous. That's it.
Yep.
That's their only talent, is just being popular.
In fact, I mean, the most famous person in the world is famous for being famous.
I'm curious, who do you think that is?
Kim Kardashian.
I mean,
you don't think that that's the most famous person in the world?
She's a billionaire for having a sex tape 20 years ago go viral.
Right. Are you looking up the most famous person in the world? She's gotta be. Gotta be at the top.
It's amazing what Kris Jenner, her mother and manager, was able to do for not just her, but her sisters and her half sisters.
Right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What do you got on your list here for the most famous person in the world here?
Cristiano Ronaldo is actually number 1.
Okay.
Lionel Messi is number 2.
Kylie
Kylie Jenner is number 3.
I would give them all swag bags.
Yeah, definitely.
Selena Gomez is number 4. Dwayne The Rock Johnson number 5.
There's no way.
Ariana Grande number 6.
There's no
Kim
way.
Kardashian number 7.
No way that Selena Gomez
This
is more popular than Kim Kardashian.
The name of this website is legit.com.
I mean, I get,
I can't argue with it.
Yeah, then in that case, I believe everything on legit.com.
Did you say you don't know who Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are?
They're soccer players. Yeah. You know what? Messi, I think I've seen 90 seconds of play.
Yeah. I call him Leo.
Yeah.
That's what I call him.
Couldn't even remember his first name.
I'm going to go next on the morning monologues. Here's mine. Mike Tyson is going to kill Jake Paul. I mean, right?
And I'm here for it.
If anybody hasn't been paying attention, we were just talking about this at the show break, but Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are scheduled for a July 20th fight that will be live on Netflix. Jake Paul may die. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen Mike Tyson like warming up, in the ring at 50 plus years of age, he's still as ferocious as a wild animal.
He is a machine.
Yeah.
He's still huge.
Yeah.
And he is so fast.
He is 30 years older than Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, if he gets hit, I mean, a clean hit by Mike Tyson, his head may explode.
Now, I said this before every Jake Paul fight, like, oh, Ben Askren's going to kill him. Like, it's just, you can't get in the ring with an actual fighter. Jake Paul's turned into an actual fighter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but
I think he's a fighter. I'm not saying he's not a fighter. I'm going to say this. It would be a huge risk for even like a current heavyweight champ to step into the ring with Mike Tyson. In fact, they wouldn't take that fight.
Takes one punch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's no question he still has that one punch left in him. I'm very curious to see the outcome of this fight. Now, what I presume may have happened behind the scenes is potentially a contract has been signed, because this is an exhibition where they're not going to be firing off on each other's heads. Like there's going to be no KOs here. Just like Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson clearly had a brother-in-law contract going on.
Do you think that they wear headgear?
No,
they won't wear headgear, but they won't try to like let's put it this way. You'll see punches pulled.
So most likely it is going to be an exhibition, but they haven't made the official ruling yet. Like there is a chance they're trying to convince Dallas's, which is different than Vegas's, whatever the board is, the gaming board, to make it a professional bout.
It's
well then, I mean, if they're pulling punches on a professional bout,
I have a feeling the outcome is already determined.
That's how I feel too.
Well.
Or at very least, there's a huge incentive attached to Jake Paul winning for Mike Tyson.
Do you think Mike Tyson could switch off kill mode?
See, that's a great question. Although I would say yes, because it was answered with the Roy Jones Jr. fight. When you watch that fight, that didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. I I didn't know if
Watch
they were
the Buster Douglas fight.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a great example. But I thought for sure that Tyson was the way he was training, also the way he was talking about the fight. I thought he was going to go in the ring and kill him, but clearly they had an agreement. They weren't trying to knock each other out. So this could be that, and that would be disappointing. But I think there is this fascination with Jake Paul because he's made himself such a villain, such a hated and less than reputable character, not only in sports but in pop culture, that people just want to see him knocked out. And I promise you I'll be watching. I'm already subscribed to Netflix, so if it's available for free, I don't have to pay any sort of over the top price.
You're probably gonna have to pay,
but then I probably will not be watching.
But if it's a small fee, right.
Here's the quote from Mike Tyson. It's a full circle moment for me that will be beyond thrilling to watch. As I started him on his boxing journey on the undercard of my fight with Roy Jones, I now plan to finish him. Please bite his ear off, Mike. That's what we want to see.
No, I just don't pull punches. That's all I want to see.
So that's my monologue. What do you got for us, CD?
Well, so as I was driving in this morning, I planned on my monologue being about the Denver Broncos and the dysfunction there. But like I said, as I was driving in, something popped into my head. And I thought, how do we get a science term coined? You know what I mean? Like, how can we submit something to the world of science to where it would be in the science books for our children to learn from? Because I've been enthralled here. I think we all have. I think the world has been enthralled with the Eagle Cam up in Big Bear, watching the Eagles. There's 3 little eggs there. We're waiting for them to hatch. We've been waiting on bated breath. But look, I want to submit a name for the birth of the Eagles,
okay,
or any bird in science. Okay.
By the way,
I wanna call
27,000 people are on this stream right now.
27,000 people. Check it out. The little birds, before they hatch, we call them little Scotties. Okay, little Scotties.
Okay.
And then sports stations all across the nation, when they're watching, say, the Eagle Cam, can say,
Jesus.
we're waiting on little Scottie Pippins.
Yep. You knew it. You knew it. You did it on purpose.
Jason!
Take a lap. Take a lap. He's a sick bastard. Every single it
doesn't even make sense.
Not even a little bit. Yeah, we get it. The first crack of the egg is called the pip.
No in.
There's no in. There's no in. But he had to do it. He couldn't help himself.
What a turd burger.
I mean, it's just so. Anyways, yeah, Lake Big Bear. We're on the Eagle Cam. There was, I think, a changing of the guards. There was an eagle sitting on the nest. We don't know if it was Shadow or Jackie, but one flew out, the other hopped in, and so the 3 eggs were fiddled with a little bit. It looks like they shook off a lot of the snow from the center of the nest.
So here's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's TD's halftime.
Oh yeah.
Don't feel like there's any problem there.
Yeah, catch that breath.
You're out of breath and you might be taking another lap. Get ready, folks.
I am out of breath. I have never smiled so much on any lap. I did like it. Coach Brian Dutcher has signed a contract extension that will keep him as the Aztecs men's basketball coach through 27-28. His new contract makes him the highest paid coach in the Mountain West. Coach Dutcher's contract somewhere between $9 and $12 million.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. I am trying to catch my breath.
Yeah.
In through the nose, out through the mouth.
That's what you get for being punny.
Well, little Scottie Pippins.
Do you want another one?
Well, you are cruising for another lap. Wow.
In the NFL, the Washington Commanders and tight end Zach Ertz agreed to a 1-year, $5 million contract. The Bills made a series of moves yesterday to help them get under the salary cap, including releasing longtime starters cornerback Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
Everybody knows him.
Yep.
Safety.
He's actually really good.
I know. I screwed it up. Safety Jordan Poyer and center Mitch Morse all gone out in Buffalo in the NBA. The Magic, why you gonna be so rooted? The Wizards, 119-109. The Hawks, Eagle Cam, the Cavs, 112-101.
That's pretty good.
The Grizzlies, Wilson, the 76ers, 115-109.
Jesus.
The Sea Lippers, stiff upper the Rockets, 122-116. Chicago Daddy, the Jazz, 112-111. The Warriors rode the Bucks, 125-90. Oklahoma, don't you know ma? The Trailblazers, 128, 120.
What does that
And
even mean?
homie, don't you know me?
Oh, there you go.
And the Lake Kirby vacuumed the Kings, 130, 120.
Kirby, the video game.
What
Wow.
was the Warrior one?
The Warriors rode the Bucks. Horse.
Yeah,
Horse.
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 Coming up in just a few minutes, Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl Executive Director, is going to join us on the show. Somehow
through.
you
Made it
avoided
through.
a laugh. You were close. You were so close. Wowzers.
I got sweaty fast.
Really quick around the AFC. So it's pre-draft. We're going to talk to Jim Nagy. We're going to get some insight on some of the players who were at the Senior Bowl, his thoughts on some of the draft prospects coming out of college football this year. When we look at the AFC West, I mean, it seems like the fate is sealed. Kansas City Chiefs, is that, I mean, are we in consensus choosing them as the top team coming out of the West?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They are the only team that has a coach even outside his second year coming up next season. They're the only team. They're one of only two teams in the division who have a quarterback who's been there more than a season. So it's the Chiefs for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't know who Denver's quarterback is going to be next year. Like, is it JJ McCarthy out of the draft? I don't know.
Look, I mean, everybody knows they're drafting a quarterback at this point,
Or
right?
did they go try to get Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's good, but that's
Or
the
did
point.
they get Drew Brees out of retirement?
We will revisit this. That could happen. Phillip Rivers. Phillip, you ready?
John Hill, are you still around?
Yeah. Hey, sell some of those used car dealerships and hop back in a helmet. Check it out. So the West, it feels like Kansas City. The North, this is where the rubber meets the road a little bit. Healthy Joe Burrow, we presume, coming back from wrist surgery. The Steelers are kind of a mess at quarterback. Actually, they are a mess at quarterback. They have a good head coach.
They
though.
might have a new quarterback too next year.
Ravens, they just bowed out of the AFC Championship game unceremoniously. And then, of course, you look at the Browns, who are, I mean, all of their chips are pushed in the center table on Deshaun Watson.
But did you see the Browns are keeping Joe Flacco?
He's elite. I mean, you would think they would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody knows
mean,
that.
And Deshaun Watson's coming off shoulder surgery. Who knows how he's going to be throwing the football?
So you taking the Browns?
No.
Go Browns on this. Look, I feel like the North, if there's a healthy Joe Burrow, I can't bet against the Bengals.
Same.
You know what? Okay, I agree, but I feel more strongly about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. When Lamar Jackson's healthy, I mean, he played like an MVP this season.
But he was
True.
healthy this season.
Yeah.
And he does the back and forth thing, right? He goes healthy, not healthy, healthy, not healthy.
Well, that's a good point. But if he stays healthy, then, and again, I'm assuming a lot, but I'm assuming he's healthy this upcoming season. Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in the North. How about AFC East? Dolphins, Bills, who just made a bevy of moves. TD was just updating us on that list. You have the New England Patriots with a new head coach. You have the New York Jets waiting on Aaron Rodgers to come back from an Achilles. Well, who do you like out of that division?
Oh man, this is a rough one. A rough one again. Again, it's we don't even know. Aaron Rodgers is such a wild card. We don't know what's going to happen there right now. Man, I probably lean on Josh Allen and the Bills here.
I'd probably go Dolphins.
Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Tua.
Yeah, year 3 of Mike McDaniel or year 2?
Year 3.
Year 3 of Mike McDaniel. That's right, because there was the vaping season last season and this upcoming season.
Vaping season.
I like them. Again, if Tua stays healthy, I didn't think there was a chance in hell Tua would stay healthy at all this year, and he did. So that proved a lot to me. If they're able to keep the core of speed around them, they should be able to get through the regular season. I don't have faith in them in the postseason if they have to go on the road.
I like the Bills also, and it comes down to two things most important in this sport. I trust that quarterback the most. I trust that head coach the most. What are you pointing at? What do you got?
I just want to talk about how skinny I am. Do you want to get to the last division real quick?
Yeah, we only did 3 Fletch, so
we have a
AFC
guess.
South.
Texans.
AFC South,
Yeah,
CJ
Texans.
Stroud and the Texans.
Yeah, it says Texans.
All right,
Texans.
Texans.
Are you just saying that because you want to get out of this segment?
So you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have the Tennessee Titans, you have
guys
the
don't care
Houston
about
Texans, and the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson, nobody's buying the Indianapolis Colts
Mm.
after keeping it together with Gardner Minshew.
I actually think they'll be second. Actually, where I think they'll end up. I think the Jags are going to fall way out of favor here.
It's amazing how we view the Jaguars.
Right.
Preseason last year, we were like, well, it's the Jaguars division to lose.
Mhm.
And now one draft, CJ Stroud changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think I do agree with Houston for now. We'll see what the Colts do in free agency and also in the draft. They just tagged Pittman Jr. You get a healthy Richardson. They will be competitive. There's no doubt.
Why you punish me?
Jim Nagy,
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Senior Executive Director of the Senior Bowl, is going to be joining us on the other side. But before we get to any of that,
Yeah.
TD wants to talk to you about guarantees.
Yeah, I guarantee you're going to lose some weight with SD Fat Loss. And so do they. Because actually, look, if you're looking at SDFatLoss.com and you're like, I don't know if I want to take the plunge. I don't know if I want to go for it here. Guess what? They're offering a money-back guarantee, so you don't have to worry about it. A 10-day money-back guarantee. So go to SDFatLoss.com, sign up for your free consultation. They're going to sit down with you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to work out the best strategy to move forward for you to lose weight. Then, if you don't lose any weight in the first 10 days, they'll give you your money back. But here's the thing. I guarantee that you're going to lose weight. Look, we all did here, all of us here on the show. We've been doing SD Fat Loss for quite some time now. Not only will you lose weight quickly, you're going to keep that weight off because that's the goal here. Because, look, you can do one of these fad diets. You can lose some weight with the fad diets. But as soon as you stop whatever the fad diet is, maybe one of these prescription medication diets, you're going to gain all that weight right back.
You just get super fat all over again. See that 1,000 times.
Just like, you know what that sound is? It's a yo-yo. It's a yo-yo. And we hate yo-yos.
So, around we threw them all away. We had so many, and now we have none.
Don't yo-yo diet, because I know you're already tired of that. You've tried it before. Don't try it. Don't try it again. SDFatLoss.com. Do this thing the right way, the healthy way to lose weight very, very quickly. You will lose weight quickly. 31 pounds for me in 8 weeks, 35 plus for Rich. Fletch over here pushing 50 pounds lost in 2 months' time, and then we're keeping that weight off. And we want you to do the same thing because you're going to feel so much better and you're going to tack on some years to your life. So do your family a favor, do yourself a favor, get yourself healthy with SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl Executive Director, joins us next. Let's talk about some NFL draft coming up.
This update presented by eBay Motors, starting off with Aztecs Hoops. Head coach Brian Dutcher signing a new contract, making him the highest paid employee in the CSU system. It's going through the 27-28 season. Congrats to Dutch. NBA Warriors beat the Bucks 125-90. Lakers lose to the Kings 130-120. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. I couldn't tell if that was the royalty-free music. I was lost there for a second, Rich. Still have a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. That's happening July 29th, the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, all slugging on chili dogs. Tickets at infolivenation.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win those. Also, a pair of tickets to Shamrock, St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Tradition returns as an authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of San Diego's historic Gas Lamp District. That's happening March 16th. San Diego Shamrock.com for tickets and info there, or keep it locked in because we're giving those away real quick.
Oh, you damn
Real
right.
quick, like.
You damn right. Okay,
Man.
Joining us on the show this morning is somebody who really needs no introduction if you're tied into football. But he is an incredible resource for everything that's coming up in April. He's a former scout of 18 years in the NFL. He's been to the Super Bowl 6 times. He's won 4 of them during his time as a league executive, a league scout. He's also the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl down there in Alabama every year. So he gets the up close and personal vista of all these draft prospects as they're making their way out of the college ranks into the NFL. And he'll be joining us in just a few minutes. We're talking about Jim Nagy. So really excited to talk to Jim as things are beginning to materialize. A lot of Caleb Williams talk, but there's also a lot of Sam Hartman talk, and there's a lot of Drake May talk, and there's a lot of talk of some of these other quarterbacks that are lesser known now, but these quantities will be known very soon as the draft is coming up. JJ McCarthy comes to mind and beyond, because obviously they're all rookies. They get to cut their teeth at the NFL level at a variety of different times and places here coming up in the ensuing months. So Jim Nagy joining us. Jim, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
Really, really good. Really excited for this offseason. A very exciting class of prospects coming out of college football. I know you got the up-close view during the Senior Bowl this year as the executive director. I ask you first about the position that everybody is curious about, the quarterback position. It's a loaded draft class. There's a lot of names that people know, and we just covered some of them, the Drake Mays, the Caleb Williams of the world, JJ McCarthy getting steam as we head toward April. But who are some of the quarterbacks that you got to see up close at the Senior Bowl that maybe not a lot of people are talking about now, but will be in a couple of years?
Yeah, man. I mean, you kind of measure, to me, you measure the quarterback classes and how many guys you think can end up being starters, right? And there's obviously different levels of starter in the league. The bottom group is the guys that you feel like you can win with, right? Like you're good enough around them, you can win with them. Like when we were in New England, I don't know if were you in New England with Castle the year we won 12 games or 11 games with Castle in New England. I mean, he was good enough, man. When we were good around him, I would say, the guys that are being talked about a lot that were in the Senior Bowl this year were Michael Penix from Washington, Bo Nix from Oregon, Spencer Rattler from South Carolina had a really good week down here and won MVP. But probably the name that's not being talked about enough, back to your question, that people probably will be talking about, I feel like in 2 or 3 years, that has a chance to be a good starter in the league, is Michael Pratt from Tulane.
Interesting. What did you see out of him that differed from some of the other quarterbacks?
Michael's a guy, he was, first of all, he was our only true senior. The way college football is right now, you look at this group of guys. I mean, Sam Hartman was in the game, and he threw more touchdowns than anyone in this draft. Sam Hartman from Wake Forest and Notre Dame. All these guys have played multiple places. They've all, they're 5 and 6 year guys. They've played a ton of football, have tons of starts under their belt. Michael was the only true senior, but a 4-year starter. And you know what I love about Michael Pratt, and you don't hear a lot of people talk about this too much anymore, but when I got into scouting 25 years ago, dating myself a little bit, but we used to put a big premium on guys that raised a program, like elevated the guys around him, elevated a program. And And Michael Pratt did that. We saw that, last year, 2 years ago, his junior year, they go out in the Cotton Bowl and he beats Caleb Williams head to head against USC with an undefeated Tulane team. And then this year they were really close to going to the, getting in the New Year's Six game, but the one game he didn't play against Ole Miss, they lost, and that really hurt them. But so he's played a ton of football. He's accurate. He just tested really well at the combine. He's like a 36 vertical jump. Was the best tester of all the quarterbacks. So he's a better athlete than a lot of these guys in the class. And what I like about him, he's accurate. He's accurate and he's tough. So a lot to like. In this year's class, he's kind of down the line. You're not hearing people talk about him as much, but in a normal quarterback class where there was maybe like 3 or 4 potential starters instead of 8 or 9, Pratt would be getting a lot more buzz.
Jim, I believe it's, pretty much a consensus, I guess. Everywhere you look, Caleb Williams going first here. Is there any shot he doesn't in your eyes?
It's a good question. After being out in Indy last week, I was at the combine for 3 or 4 days, and it sure seems like that's where it's going. I was talking to Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated my last day in town, and I think he broke the news that Caleb was going to take his visit to the Bears. Supposedly, it was supposed to be Tuesday of this week, a couple days ago, and after he reported that, I think it got pushed to after USC's pro day. If he did take that visit right after the combine, that never happens. I mean, that's, these 30 visits usually take place at the end of the month and, even into April. So that would have been a clear indicator that Chicago was going to do something. But again, him opting out of the medical part, I just have to feel like there's something already, something verbally in place where he feels good about that he's going to the Chicago Bears.
Jim, when you look at the running back position in the NFL, the last 2 offseason has just kind of been plagued by running backs talking about the amount of money they're getting paid. Well, it's becoming more and more obvious that they're so easily replaceable with the draft. So in the running back position, in the running back room, who are some of the names that are going to be highlighted at this year's NFL draft?
Well, I would stay right in your guys' backyard. I think Marshawn Lloyd, to me, is the best back in this draft. And I say that he was in the Senior Bowl. I'm not trying to sound like a homer on that pick, but even if he didn't come play in the Senior Bowl, I think Marshawn Lloyd's the best back in the draft. He's elusive. He's explosive. He's got really good contact balance. He can play on third down. You can leave him on the field and throw him the ball. So to me, he's really good. But it is a good class. Blake Corum. To me, Blake's tape wasn't quite as good this year as the year before, but it was a year post ACL. So I think whoever drafts Blake Corum is going to get a really good player and a better player next year than he probably showed on Michigan film this year. Trey Benson at Florida State's another guy we went after for the Senior Bowl. Didn't play in the game, but another explosive back. I went over and saw Florida State play a couple times. They're kind of in our backyard over here in Mobile. So another explosive player, ran really fast at the combine. So it's a good group, and I hate it for these running backs, man. Like nobody takes a bigger pounding than these guys. So this veteran free agent crew, they're probably going to have to sit and wait it out. Teams are going to draft young guys, and then they're going to have to play musical chairs in free agency and try to find a seat, probably at a discounted rate. But I just hate that's where we're at with the position, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah, it's become a passing league. I love these names you're giving us. Quarterback Michael Pratt, Marshawn Lloyd, running back. Those are names you're going to need to know come April. Hey, you mentioned the combine a couple of times. You spent almost 20 years as a scout building Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl champions. How important is the combine in the evaluation process? Because it does sort of just feel like a marketing tool now.
Rich, it is a little bit. I mean, I think if you asked anyone in the NFL, it's important. One is the medical. No, everyone would tell them say the medical. And again, it's important because, man, there was a year out with the Seahawks, and we drafted a player that wasn't a combine guy, right? So he didn't go to the combine. That's where teams use a lot of the 30 visit spots as guys that don't get combine invites, so they can bring him in and do the medical. And then what happens is you trade medical information with other GMs. And we traded medical information on a guy, and we drafted the player, and he had a heart. He showed up after the draft, for rookie minicamp, and the Seattle team doctors got their hands on him and found a heart condition where he couldn't play football anymore.
Wow.
The other team missed it. So I would say medical's one, interviews two. That's all you think about. When you think about it, yes, these teams have been sending scouts through buildings, all across the country for the last 2 years, asking people in the buildings about these players. But it's really a short period of time. You got from the Senior Bowl at the beginning of February, now is where we're at, through the end of April. That's 3 months where they really get a chance to know these players. It's a small window. So, that interview time in Indy is important. And then the on-field stuff is probably last. And really the 40-yard dash, if we continue to run this thing, that's just for TV ratings and to line our pockets, at the NFL league office, because these guys all got GPS trackers on at the college level. We have it here at the Senior Bowl. The same Zebra technology is the company that does it for all 32 NFL teams. They're our partner as well. So how fast these guys play, and that's a heck of a lot more important than what they're running a 40-yard dash, in shorts and a t-shirt are. So certainly you go back to your question. So interviews and the medicals are probably more important than the actual workouts.
Yeah, it makes sense. Listen, I feel like it's just an excuse to go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse. That's what I think it is. And everybody's just waiting to have that horseradish cocktail sauce. Hey, we appreciate it every time you come on the show. Jim, thank you so much for your tireless work. You can follow him at JimNaggy_SB on Twitter. And I suggest you do invaluable resource for all of your updates on these prospects coming out of college. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, Rich, thanks for having me on, man. Anytime.
There he goes. Jim Nagy, Senior Executive Director of the Senior Bowl down there in Mobile, Alabama. Coming up next, we have an update on the most Larry David complaint you can come up with.
Awesome talk back from one of our listeners.
Because we're in the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and we'll give you a Padres update as well. Their spring lurches on as South Korea looms in the near distance. That's up next. $1,001, $1,002, $1,003.
You got to do a spot, Rich.
Yeah, well, listen, not yet. 1,004, 1,005. Just do a little bench press here in the studio. No bigs. 1,007.
Every break, man. Every break.
1,008. I'm going to rack them. Ooh. Okay, listen. If you two want to do over 1,000 reps on bench, I suggest you get down to the Man Zone Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery for your next testosterone treatment. Listen, I've been a patient of Dr. Roy David now for months, and I'm seeing the results. I think you're hearing the results. Thank you. Dr. Roy David is a double board certified plastic surgeon at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, but at the Man Zone, he's the medical director who's going to guide you through optimizing your male health. What does that mean? Well, look, as you age, naturally your testosterone decreases. This was all explained to me by Dr. Roy David. He's a doctor. I'm a dummy. I went in there and said, hey, I don't feel good. He tested my testosterone. He goes, oh, look, here's the reason why. And I went, oh, got it. So what do? He goes, you need more testosterone. I said, okay. And so off to the races we went, and I'm feeling amazing now. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. You show up to a very comfortable office. It's barely an office in the classical sense. You don't feel like you're at a doctor's office. He has like a man cave set up. Big screen TV. He's got ESPN up there. You got a beer fridge. You got a little whiskey you can pour for yourself if you want while you wait for your testosterone to be tested. You go in there. It's a simple blood test. They get you the results immediately. And then if you are low on testosterone, they're going to boost you up. They're going to bring it up to optimize your performance in everything you do. Look, my chief complaints were I just felt sluggish all the time. I didn't feel enthusiastic about going to the gym anymore. I had brain fog, which was really weird. You just feel funky all the time. It's not fun. And then all of a sudden, after taking the testosterone treatment, I feel great. I was 37 when I started, just turned 38. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, or 60s, this is a no-brainer. Like I said, your testosterone is going down whether you like it or not. It's time to boost it back up to get to healthy levels and optimize your health. Check out themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com to book your first appointment today and grab some more information. Themanzone.com. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. 2 great prizes still to give away. A pair of tickets to Outlaw Music Festival. Also, a pair of tickets downtown on St. Patty's Day to Sham Rock.
Yeah.
So we're going to give those in the 8 o'clock hour. Be listening from now moving forward for your opportunity to win and find out what we're going to do for you to win. Also, we've been requesting with the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm here on the horizon. We're going to be watching it.
It's here, dude. It's hilarious.
Oh, have you been watching already?
Yeah, I'm caught up. They're coming out like every Sunday. I think there's 5 episodes so far.
Okay.
There's one where the entire episode is based around people ruining Wordle for you.
Oh my gosh.
And
I love
it is
Larry
the
David.
hardest I've laughed in years.
Okay, so what is your most Larry David complaint? We went around the room here. Mine is being asked to get up out of my seat every time I sit down in my house. TD has a real problem with the way the dishwasher is being arranged.
You know what else I hate?
What's that?
The toilet paper going down the backside.
Dude,
Has to come
there's
over the top.
only one way to put toilet paper in.
Yeah.
And
over
we
the top.
We talked to a professional.
We talked to the people from Charmin.
Yeah, they told us.
Over the top.
Over the top.
Over the
every
top.
time.
And so
like a waterfall.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what? Are you outside of your mind?
Okay, it doesn't
Wait,
matter.
hold on. This is now the
No, it doesn't
second
matter. It
day in
doesn't
a
matter.
row.
It
This
doesn't
is so-
matter.
You do
Wait,
this to us all
remember
the
yesterday?
time.
You're like, yeah, I don't like those eyebrows.
Yeah.
I don't like her eyebrows, but the toilet paper, is it really that big of a deal?
Yes.
It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. We don't have to get into it. I remember
Right.
we spent maybe too long on this last time, and then we had an expert join the show to prove that we were right. But we've asked our listeners, hey, so what is the most Larry David complaint? Like the most Curb Your Enthusiasm episode-esque moment of your day that just grinds your gears? You can reach out to us on the text line 70470. Start your message with team. You can reach out to us on the talkback feature on the free iHeartRadio app. If you listen to our show, you'll notice a little microphone button. You could click that button and leave us a voicemail. Here's one of our listeners with his complaint.
Yeah. I mean, I believe I just voted for that man for president. Spot on. Spot on.
I have I'm not gonna name even which side of the family this person's on, but I have a family member who will like eat a bag of almonds or cashews and be like, oh my god, I just ruined dinner.
I'll name names. My wife.
Almonds.
Almonds.
My wife, who is a skinny person all the time. I gained 4 pounds. 4? I could knock that out in an afternoon, sweetheart.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
Sounds like
I could-
chicken wings.
Yeah, I could do that at In and Out
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, that to me, the thing that ticks me off more than anything when somebody complains about their weight is when they do it and you know they're doing it, so you tell them something complimentary
Exactly.
about them.
They're fishing.
It's the humble
They're
brag.
fishing.
Yeah, well, it's not even a humble brag. They're literally, what, like you said, TD, it's like they're casting the line. They're like, and you're supposed to say, that's right, I'm very fit. That's right, I am. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly
Thank you.
right.
I
Exactly
just
right.
got off the Nordic-Track. Thank you.
Do we have any update on our date night here or day date?
Julian's gone quiet.
Julian, what's up?
Okay, yeah, Julian, we're going to need you to call in with
Yeah,
an
right,
update on
exactly.
your jiu-jitsu, girl.
Yeah.
Also, this off the text line, things that tick me off, dancing drunks in the 300 section at Petco while trying to enjoy a concert.
Uh-oh.
Recently
Wait,
went to
hold on.
Stapleton.
Wait, is that Julia?
You're not at the floor level. You're in the nosebleed section, people. Have a seat. You're not really participating if you're in section 300.
I was hammered. I don't think I was dancing.
I think that text is actually about Fletch.
It might be. Also, I disagree with the premise of it. Like, you're in the nosebleeds, you might as well have fun.
Oh, how about this? Things that tick me off. This off the text line again. Dogs that want to go outside when people come to your house. The point where the door, where you open the door and they nonchalantly sneak out and run like a bat out of the hell and get away.
Yeah.
Dogs that run are annoying.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. You know what else is annoying is if so my dogs are barkers at the doorbell. Your dogs are the same way.
Yeah.
If the doorbell rings on a TV show or there was a certain commercial that was running for some time that had a doorbell and it was awful.
I mean, it caused total chaos at the house.
Ooh, somebody's complaining about rain in San Diego.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that.
We pay a lot of money. It's supposed to be dry. Although
Okay.
they did say, well, hold on. The state of California didn't say this. Scientists said that there's enough water now in California that we should be drought free through 2025.
Wow.
But I'm gonna venture to guess that the state of California says that's not the case, and we don't get a break
They
on
should have
any
said
water.
2033, so it rhymed. That would have been better. Drought free till 2033.
That's true.
That would be better.
Yeah, but
I
or
do
like
agree
what if
that
what
would
if,
be better.
What
Let's
if it
just
was like?
fly.
But what if it was like, no drought through 2020 out?
You know what doesn't suck?
What?
What's that?
What I have
Flex?
no
Save
complaints
us.
about with Prize Picks. I have no Larry David complaints about Prize Picks because it is the most fun you will have on your phone.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Prize Picks is legitimately awesome, and I do legitimately spend a ton of time on it. Prize Picks is the most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports in a long, long time. It's the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's the easiest, the most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You're not battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. All you're doing is picking more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in if you have the skills. Last night, I was so close again, and I am done including Luka Doncic on any of my pick'em entries because he has been the guy over the last handful of weeks that has really ruined everything for me. But it is the most fun I've had playing. You can win up to 25 times your money this basketball season. Hell, you could win up to 100 times your money. That's right. With just $10, you can win up to $1,000 on Prize Picks. Make sure you go check out the combination leagues. You can go from e-gamers to professional basketball players to professional dart throwers, all on the same entry. It's a ton of fun. Get on over to the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get a first deposit match up to $100. prizepicks.com/Fletch. Get a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Download the Prize Picks app today. This update is presented by KFC. Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Starting off with the Aztecs hoops. Head coach Brian Dutcher signing a new contract, making him the highest paid coach in the Mountain West, the highest paid employee in the CSU system. After that national championship run, Coach Dutch is locked in through the 2027-28 season. NBA Warriors beat the Bucks 125-90. That snaps a 6-game Milwaukee win streak. Lakers fell to the Kings last night in LA 130-120. LeBron leaving the game late with an ankle issue, apparently. And Padres lose to the Reds yesterday 6-2 in Cactus League play. KFC's new smashed potato bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, bacon come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger licking good.
Champ here. When I'm in San Diego, I'm always hanging out at San Diego Sports 760. With who? Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Happy
Whammy!
Thursday to those who celebrate. The voice of David Keckner. He's going to be back on this show here very soon. As a matter of fact, when he was coming back around, getting his tour dates in line, and he was asked to play at the American Comedy Co., he goes, "Hey, can I get back on with those sports guys?"
And then he said, whammy!
Yeah. Oh, man.
He says that all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, he really does.
nonstop.
Yeah, just basically the only thing he says. It's kind of like us and sucking on a chili dog, sucking on a chili dog, sucking on a chili dog.
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 Look, we say that to mention that we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival.
You too could be sucking on a chili dog.
That's right, with John Mellencamp. Don't call him Cougar. He dropped the Cougs. And that's fine with us. Willie Nelson's going to be there.
Yep.
Bob Dylan. Going to be there too. That's coming up this summer. So we're going to get you tickets to that show. Find out how to win. Keep listening. Also, Shamrock is going to be downtown in the Gaslamp. St. Patty's. St. Patty's Day. That was so jarring.
Guys, good news.
The hell out of me.
Sorry, I was.
Listener
Bruno
Georgiana
Mars.
is commenting on our Twitter.
Yeah,
Listener Georgiana, she's asking us to send nudes.
she is.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's a can do, Georgiana.
is it Georgiana? Is she from Russia?
I
Or?
don't think she's a real person.
Call the fluffer.
Well, why did she decide that she needs nudes from us?
Well, listen, I'm not going to show up half-mast. I'm going to need a little me time.
What? Golden Triangle?
That's right. And I'm going to talk to you guys about testosterone in just a little bit.
Maybe that's why she has to send nudes. she heard your workout regimen.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening. I did over 1,000 bench press at a break. Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. Thank you, TD. That means a lot.
Well, I sit here in awe.
Yeah,
It's
like
a
most do.
spectacle.
Look, we came here to kick ass and chew gum, and we're all out of gum. So you know what we're talking about.
It's right.
All right.
Nukem.
The Padres, a great game. The Padres played a bad game yesterday. They lost to the Reds 6-2. I mean, devastating. Spring training is going horribly wrong. How will we recover?
Were they like at 500 now?
We will rebuild. We will rebuild. Look, here's the deal. Nothing matters in spring training except everything. It sounds like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth because I am. The Padres are in a weird spot. Like, so for most teams, your record in the spring, it doesn't matter. And I'll say that with the Padres too, but spring training takes on a different level of importance with the Padres. And we've talked about this before because of how important it is for this roster to shape out and provide what they need. Kevin Acee joined us on Wednesday and he said, yeah, guys, I mean, in plain English, they're not going to make roster moves just for the sake of bringing in a comparable player if they think they have that player on their pitching staff or in their lineup already. So they're not anxious to sign anyone. They're really going to rock and roll with the guys they currently have on this roster, and we'll just see who wins out these positions.
Sweet.
Does it tick you guys off a little bit? Like, they have saved all this money. Like, think about who's not on this team this year that was last year. Between Juan Soto, Josh Hader, Blake Snell, you're looking at like close to $65-70 million just with those three guys.
Yeah, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
No, but does it tick you off at all that none of that money is getting reinvested, not just into the team, but into the fan base, who is being asked to spend more money this upcoming season on tickets, on ways to watch the Padres on TV? Like that money that they're saving and making is not being reinvested into the fans, which is something that we saw frequently with Peter Seidler, that he would reinvest the money.
Does it tick me off a little? Quite honestly, no.
It does to me.
Really?
It really does.
Like, I mean, I guess I expected it. I mean, I felt like it was coming. It was a little bit, this is too good to be true type of thing. And unfortunately, with Peter's passing, like I knew it was coming. Like that moment, I knew it was coming because Peter Seidler, his whole goal was to bring a championship to this team, and he was like, "I'm just going to figure out how to do it. If we got to pay for it, we'll pay for it. But we need that to happen here in San Diego." And it didn't, unfortunately. So they're scaling things back. But like I said, glass half full. There's still a lot of players on this team. If they could get some momentum here, if they could get some solidity in that front office, in the dugout, I was going to say bullpen, that would work as well. They could make some noise. They're not going to win the West, but they could make some noise.
Here's the deal. The West is already won, it feels like, by the Dodgers. But yeah, making noise, being competitive, all those things with Hader and Snell and Soto, obviously they would be much more competitive. Soto sort of felt like a bridge too far from the jump. It would have to have been an immediate and enormous investment for the Padres to do that. And Peter Seidler was sick. His health was failing. And so I think there was a time there before his passing where I'm sure a normal, healthy Peter might have been at the negotiating table with Soto and his agent. And instead, he was obviously worried about more important things. It's just everything's different now. And it's an unfortunate reality we all exist in now. And it's not a reality where the Padres can't win, though, because we've seen this happen. We've seen teams go cheap and still have success. Look at the Rams. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams of the NFL were a playoff team. Nobody expected them to be a playoff team after they started just hacking salary left and right. In fact, the general manager of the team, Les Snead, sent out a letter to the fan base saying, "Gang, we won a Super Bowl. Pat on our back. Very good, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But with that comes consequences." And so are we still eyeing a playoff run? Sure.
Right.
But are we going to be in the playoffs? No. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing for Les, but that was essentially what he wrote.
But they
to the
won
fan
a
base.
Super Bowl.
But they did win a Super Bowl. I get it. I know.
If the Padres had won a World Series, man, they could suck for 20 years. I wouldn't care.
But my point isn't like the heights that they soared to. It's more the fact that you can still trim and become you can have success on a budget is the point I'm trying to make.
So the silver linings I see with this whole season, and the reason I would have any sort of hope, is all based on one human being, and it's Fernando Tatis Jr. Because I do truly believe that he is one of the top 3 players in all of baseball, and I believe he could be the best player in baseball if he plays a full season and is normal Fernando, and even a little better than that. I think if he plays out of his mind good and is top 3 in MVP voting this year, the Padres will probably be just fine.
I think it rests on Manny Machado. I think it rests on him, not only his level of play, but it rests on his attitude, which we know he's moody. So that they have to win. So if they're not out there winning, I promise you, Manny Machado will not be happy. And I wouldn't be either. I mean, I want to win, but it's going to rest on Manny Machado.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I do agree with what you said, Fletch. I think that Fernando Tatis Jr. is a fire starter. He's an energy creator. There's no question about it. But Manny Machado, he can make or break this season based on his attitude in the clubhouse. And we know he can be difficult to work with. That's been reported every stop of the way, including in San Diego. That's just how Manny Machado rolls. So as a leader in the clubhouse, when culture was such a question just a year ago with Bob Melvin and the issues with the front office and the clubhouse level, there was a lot of discord going on. You're going to need the leaders of this team, and Manny's one of them, to step up into that role and really play a huge part. Okay. Alongside the Padres spring training updates, we did mention that Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David enters its final season, about 5 episodes in. And the Padres have really absolutely incurred a lot of complaining around San Diego. So we asked our listeners, hey, come up with your most Larry David-esque complaint you could think of. Hit us up on the Talkback feature on the free iHeartRadio app. It's a little microphone button right next to the play button when you listen to this show. And the listeners have answered. We are inundated. We have talkbacks. There's a lot to complain about. Okay, so Fletch, just pick one and play one. It's incredible.
I completely agree. I
Freaking frozen
completely
yogurt
agree.
shops where you make
Hold
your
on.
own frozen yogurt are
Thank you.
asking for tips.
Thank you. By the way, I thought we tipped on service. Did we not tip on service? I mean, I can't go make the burger myself. So why don't you just add the tip into the price?
Boy, you're this listener's lips to God's ears. Although I will say, like, I try to think of the reason, right? There are certain places where I can, like frozen yogurt. Perfect example. We got one near our house in PB. We go all the time. The kids love it. And I try to think like, okay, they're asking for a tip. Why? They use that little brush to move the chocolate chips back into the, when you're picking your toppings.
The little well.
Like all of
Is
a
that
sudden,
enough for you to give 20%
yeah, look at
on a $14 frozen yogurt rub?
If a cherry drops into the cookie dough, I want the cherry to sit there, so they pick up the maraschino and they put it back into the bin it belongs in. If all of a sudden you want rainbow sprinkles and it's been completely overtaken by the chocolate sprinkles, you got issues. So okay. 20% maybe steep, 10% though for the person who's picking the cherries out of the brownie bites. I can see it.
You guys want one more?
I don't. God. I hate this.
I won't name the store, but I one time went to buy paint. This is no lie. I went to buy paint, and I just basically picked a color off of the wall. I knew what I was going for, and all the guy did was he took a can. And he put in that little shaker.
Yeah.
And so he hands it to me, and he pounds the top, or he opens the top. He takes a little sample. He wipes it on the lid, pounds it closed with a rubber mallet, and he flips the screen around on me. And he goes, and it asks for a tip. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
I don't get it. You have no other choice. That's the price of the paint, and that's the process to get the paint. I have to now judge on whether or not it was mixed properly. No, it should just be mixed properly. Like when I go to Starbucks, okay,
we really lit a fuse
when
here.
I go to Starbucks, this drives me crazy. Okay, when I go to Starbucks and I'm like, I want I want my venti cinnamon dulce latte, please.
Yeah.
Okay, which requires 5 pumps of syrup. Okay, 5 full pumps of syrup is the recipe. Look, I know you're busy. Okay, but you don't need to go lightning speed on the pump where they pump as fast as I can. And then guess what? You don't have 5 full pumps. You only have 2 full pumps because you pump so damn fast. Just slow down and make the damn drink like the recipe.
Well, that's what I tell them. I go, look, 5 full pumps. I go, give me 5, but give me full pumps.
I asked for an additional pump just to try to get it closer to the actual recipe because I already know they're going to screw it up.
Yeah, you hedge your bets.
I have a video. Hang on. Let me find it while we bring on our next guest.
Yeah. This is I do want to see that, by the way.
John Schaefer, I've heard, terrible tipper.
Okay, now actually no, he's a perfect guy to ask because John is the sweetest human being I've ever met in my life. And if you've never spoken to or seen or heard of John Schaefer, I just watched that. That's insane.
Have you ever seen a pump so fast in your life?
That guy's going. That's rapid fire pumping.
There's no way. I don't know if you could see this, Fletch.
That's graphic. We might need a censor bar. That guy really got after it. But anyways, John Schaefer. If you've never heard from this man, he's a sweetheart. He's a good dude. He hosts John and Jim on the afternoons, the Padres wrap-up show, the Aztecs wrap-up show. He's also a fill-in play-by-play voice for the Aztecs. He does post and halftime for the Aztecs broadcasts. I mean, this guy is easily one of the busiest human beings I know. And he's one of the nicest people I know. However, I imagine even John Schaefer has a Larry David-esque complaint, like something that gets under his skin, boils his blood. John Schaefer joins the show this morning. John, what is it? What just grinds your gears? We're talking about being forced to tip. What is it?
First of all, it's an amazing introduction, Rich. Love that.
Yeah.
What grinds my gears? That's tough. I mean, there's probably a lot, to be honest. I can't necessarily. Oh gosh, that's so hard. I need more time on that.
John, do you ever just sit on your show here and you're sitting at the desk and you just turn to the side and look at Jim and just think like, what the hell? My God,
Travis, you just answered it.
Yeah, okay.
It's Jim. It's Jim. Everything about Jim. It's just, It's just Jim.
It's so funny. It's almost like a growth that you've gotten used to.
That's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
wild. Like Jim's own kidneys hate him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost like, you had a wart and it grew on a knuckle somewhere and you're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just part of me now. It's annoying, and that's Jim Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get an invite, John, to the bachelor party?
Well, that's a whole nother story. It was like a backhanded fake invite where he's like, hey, my bachelor party is this weekend in March. I'm like, oh yeah, great. San Diego State plays Friday. I could go, Saturday. I'm off over the weekend. It's like, well, we're playing golf. Do you play golf? I'm like, no, not really. It's like, oh, you probably wouldn't want to go.
Oh, my
So it was like,
God.
yeah. And,
Wow.
and then I'm like, I'm out.
Wait,
And then I was like, I'm done. I'm not going.
the bachelor party is playing golf?
Jesus.
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, that's just a portion of the bachelor party. Like, you can play golf. I could still go to the bachelor party. Like,
yeah.
But he was like, no. He's like, you probably wouldn't like it. We're gonna eat like sushi. I'm like, I like sushi.
Wow.
Anyway, so it's not happening. I mean, he's got a kidney stone. He's going to Las Vegas for his bachelor party. Doesn't even sound that enthralling.
No.
not
Listen,
really.
I'll give you this one. So one time we all went golfing with Jim at Torrey Pines.
Mistake.
Right.
It was a big mistake. So he paired up in the same cart with Travis with TD over here and just left him at the tee box every time. He'd hit his ball. No, like John, no kidding. He'd hit his ball. He'd walk to the cart. And before the rest of us teed off, he would be down the fairway and waiting to get to his ball to hit his next. It was unbelievable.
That's a perfect summary. That's a perfect summary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just summarized them in one sentence.
Hey, so we were talking about the breaking news that occurred. Everybody read the Ziegler article in the UT about Brian Dutcher's extension. It was presumed that this would get done at some point, but the fact that this locks him in for 5 years, the fact that the culture is stable for another half decade on the Mesa and all the success that's come before it. What does this mean to San Diego State, not just the basketball team, but the athletic program overall?
Yeah, I think that it's pretty significant. I mean, it's obviously a credit to, the administration and JD Wicker and then, Brian Dutcher and his coaching staff. I think Mark had some quotes in there from JD and from Dutch as well, talking about, there's the rising costs of coaching. I mean, you look around the country and there's coaches that haven't had the same level of success maybe as Brian Dutcher, but if they're in a different league, like a power league, because of TV revenue, their salaries can be, unbelievably high. So I just think it's so important because in this age where you have so much change, and the change is only like intensifying, whether it's because of the portal or because of name, image, and likeness. So you have change with players, but we know we've had changes with coaches all the time throughout college athletics, and that's also intensifying, and the money's only getting more significant. So there's opportunities. Brian Dutcher has won at the highest level possible. He's coached in a national championship game as an assistant or a head coach now 4 times. So I just think it's really significant, and sustainability at San Diego State means a lot. Steve Fisher to Brian Dutcher, it's just that level of sustained success is something they're trying to repeat over and over and over again.
Yeah, you know what, John? This is an interesting deal for me because as I look at this doesn't happen very often where I feel like both parties got a good deal. Are you in the same camp with this?
I think like Dutch had some, and we talked to Dutch yesterday and John and Jim, but even in the article that Mark wrote that has more, for the financial details, I think, Dutch didn't become a head coach until he was 57 or 58 years of age. I mean, clearly he wasn't motivated solely by the fact of trying to earn, at that rate. I mean, he would have had plenty of opportunities during his 20 years on the bench next to Steve Fisher to become a head coach and immediately earn more in that moment than he was as an assistant. I don't, of course, everyone, I mean, money's important. I mean, we all need it. It's a factor, but I think for some, it's more of a factor than others. I mean, you think about Brian Dutcher and it just doesn't seem like it's the overwhelming number one factor in him being here. He's been here 25 years. He's raised his children here. He has a grandchild here. I mean, they love San Diego. So there's other factors at play beyond, hey, I could make X here, I could make X plus Y there, but that doesn't necessarily mean the grass is greener. So yeah, I think it's fair. You look around the Mountain West and he's had the most success in the league. So I think he should be the highest paid coach in the Mountain West. But So I think it works for both parties, and hopefully that continues for as long as Brian Dutcher wants to coach.
And what's crazy when you think about, John, is that all the years that Dutch sat on the bench behind Steve Fisher waiting for his opportunity, it kind of feels like Dutch has a mini Dutch in Dave Velasquez, where it's the team of the two of them is so copacetic and so meaningful to the success for San Diego State. Do you think Dave Velasquez is built up in a similar way to wait for his first head coaching job till he's 58?
It's hard to speak for someone else in terms of their motivations. I mean, obviously Dave's been incredibly loyal, but there's a lot of members on that staff that have been really loyal and have had a lot of success, as assistants or support staff or trainers, or there's all types of, Rich knows because he played professional sports and college sports. I mean, what goes into playing a college football game, for example, I mean, there's probably just as many people that don't play than do play. I think it's the same thing with basketball. And there's so many people that have led to the success. And Dutch talked about that, I think, maybe this quote in the press release, or to Mark as well. Yeah, I mean, Dave has done a phenomenal job. Chris Acker, J.D. Luster, Matt Soria. I mean, there's so many people. I'm missing people. Their training staff. It's like it's not one person. Everyone understands that. Like, it's like a quarterback in football or a head coach. Like, people blame Bill Belichick or they give him credit, or they blame Tom Brady or they give him credit. The truth is, there's a lot of people that lead to success or failure, well beyond one player or one coach. And I think that's what Dutch would probably say too.
It really is incredible what he's been able to do along with Steve Fisher, because the consistency of winning, it becomes routine, but a lot of people don't know or forget what was here before they got here. Steve Fisher completely changed this program into a mid-major that's nationally renowned, and then Dutcher was able to carry the torch after him. But before that, they couldn't give away Aztecs tickets. Literally, people would throw them in the trash. And now you have Viejas absolutely rocking Viejas Arena, which, by the way, was built during Steve Fisher's era because he created such an important basketball team to this city. John, we absolutely love your coverage of the Aztecs basketball season. Keep doing a killer job, and we're sorry that you have to work with Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Not tomorrow. It's John and Fletch, 3 to 6.
John and Fletch tomorrow.
Yeah, for senior night.
Whoa.
3 to 7, actually.
Yeah.
Bar Cart Friday continues, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, unbelievable.
How many hard kombuchas should Fletch bring to the show?
Listen, bring some Nova kombucha for me, Fletch.
Yeah. Okay. All right. John, are you caught up? Are you caught up on the Eagle Cam at all out in Big Bear? Because we got some little Scotties ready to hatch.
It's hard for me to sleep, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I'm on round the clock coverage. If I'm not on the air today at 3, that's why.
Thank you. We'll wait with bated breath to hear that answer. Thank you, John. There he goes, John Schaefer, San Diego Sports 760. John and Jim, you hear it every single day from 3 to 6. Tomorrow, you're going to hear from 3 to 7 as they welcome you into the Aztecs basketball broadcast senior night for the Aztecs against Boise State. Okay. If you love something, right, you love it.
Yeah.
But do you love it enough to like lose fingers and toes? Like how much do you love it?
Like would you cut off a finger for ...
Yes. Okay. We're going to tell you.
That's all the tease.
Oh, my gosh. This actually happened in sports. We'll explain it. We're not talking about Ronnie Lott. Before we get to that, look, that's one way to get lighter. If you want to lose weight, yeah, you could cut off fingers or toes. There's an easier way.
Well, I don't know, quicker, though.
SDFatLoss.com.
Maybe it is quicker. Also healthier.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Like, if you're thinking to yourself, like, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners holding a saw to their leg and they're like, wait, I'm listening. SDFatLoss.com is a way to avoid that amputation, to lose the unwanted pounds.
Because that means your foot isn't unwanted.
Yeah, you want the foot.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Unless you have a really heavy foot. Look, the point is, SCFatLoss.com is an awesome guarantee right now. If you don't lose weight within the first 10 days of using their program, they give you your money back, guaranteed. How about that? I mean, look, I frankly feel like it's a physical impossibility if you're paying attention to the plan, if you're working with Wayne and Chloe, not to lose weight. But the fact that they're offering it just shows you how much they stand by their plan. This is incredible. So SDFatLoss.com, the three of us, in the first 30 days, we lost over 60 pounds. Actually, in the first 30 days, what were we down? We were close to 100. No,
Yeah.
we were over 100.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was like
Because
28 pounds.
You were 28. I was over 35. Fletch was over 40 pounds in the first 30 days. So we were over 100 pounds down in the first 30 days. Look, as a show, we've lost a tremendous amount of weight. Individually, we've all lost a tremendous amount of weight. We've like lost a full person, like adult human beings worth of weight with stfatloss.com. So again, if you started off the year thinking like, yeah, this is the year, 2024, turn it around, I'm losing all the weight, and it's March and you're just as fat as you were in December, that sucks, but there's a plan that you can follow, and it's at stfatloss.com.
This update is presented by the new Banana Boat 360 coverage. If you are looking for some Aztecs news, we got it for you. Head coach of the Aztecs Hoops program, Brian Dutcher, signing a new contract, making him the highest paid employee in the California State University system after a national championship run a year ago. San Diego State head coach, he is staying on the Mesa through the 2027-28 season. Cheers to Coach Dutcher and his family. In the NBA, Warriors beat the Bucks 125-90 last night, snapping a 6-game Milwaukee win streak. Lakers fall to the Kings at Crypto.com Arena 130-120. LeBron James, maybe some cause for concern here as he left the game with a couple minutes left with an ankle issue that he said he's had since before the All-Star break. And the Padres lost to the Reds yesterday 6-2 in Cactus League play. This Sun season Banana Boat is giving you a new way to spray. Introducing new Banana Boat 360 coverage. Better control for better coverage with a reusable sprayer and refill from Sport Formula to kids SPF 50+. Shop Banana Boat 360 coverage on Amazon.
Hey, what do we want to promise this segment? Shamrock tickets?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to promise that here. Big Rich Stadium Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. That's going to be happening March 16th. SanDiegoShamrock.com for tickets and info, or just keep listening for your chance to win those. It's happening. It's happening in the next 6 minutes.
Yeah, you're damn right. You'll find out how to win those. Okay, so the Chiefs got to win over the Dolphins in a playoff game hosted at Arrowhead Stadium. For those who don't remember, I'll just remind you, it was so cold that at one point, Patrick Mahomes made head-to-head contact with one of the Dolphins defenders, and a large chunk of his helmet vibrated and broke off from the helmet.
Right.
Because the plastic was so cold, it shattered.
It was so
Frozen.
cold in that game that Chris Collinsworth's son was doing sidelines, and he was whacking the ground with the microphone. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it sounded like he was tapping on steel,
Yeah.
and it was the grass.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's
It's
cool.
cool.
It is cool. It's a little bit cool.
Yeah.
The ground was frozen.
It's cool.
I will say this. I played in a game my senior year at Penn State just like this at Kinnick Stadium against the Iowa Hawkeyes. We were an undefeated Penn State team. We lost the game because
did Whittle Witchy get a Whittle Chewy?
hang on though. Joe Paterno didn't believe in heaters on the sideline. Okay, so he was
Come on, Joe Pye.
He was so old school. I mean, the guy was born in the 1920s.
Right.
Okay, he was so old school that he was like, "We're not putting heaters on the sideline because it'll make you soft." And we're just like, "No, it'll make us warm so we play better." He's like, bologna sandwiches. We're gonna play without heat, and you like it. And
Did
we're-
anyone go up to him at like halftime and be like, "Coach, are you feeling what we're feeling?"
Dude, his face looked like it was ready to crack off of his skull. He's wandering around as a 79-year-old man in the frigid cold. We were worried about his health. Our punter literally built a makeshift cave, and I'm pretty sure started a small fire because he's only used like 6 times a game. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Coach, hey, Coach, Dave died.
Yeah. Dave who? Our punter? Soft. We're looking across the field, the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're sitting on heated benches. They're all wearing ski hats. They're drinking cocoa.
They're eating fried chicken delivered by Mrs. Brady out at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
It was unbelievable. It looked so comfortable. We were miserable. But at this Kansas City Chiefs game, the Dolphins and the Chiefs both were well taken care of on the sideline. I promise lots of heaters for everybody. Here's the problem. The fans at Arrowhead Stadium, the Chiefs fan, no heaters, right? Well, unless they brought their own. Several Chiefs fans have now had fingers and toes amputated as a result of going to this game.
Frostbite.
Yeah.
Frostbite, which, by the way, the city of Kansas City said, don't go to this game.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah, they
Did
did.
it? Was that the game that got moved?
No, that was
Postponed?
the
No, that was a Bills game.
Bills game. You're right.
No, because there was no snow.
It was just
It was
freezing.
just cold. Well, if there was snow, it was a little snow.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
it was frozen, man.
So yeah, so frostbite, for anybody who is unaware, it's when your extremities get so cold that the blood rushes away from, your fingers, your toes, really your arms and your legs to protect your core temperature. And what happens as a result is your cell tissue, your flesh dies.
Frozen.
It just freezes.
It's wild that could happen so quickly, like in the span of a 3-hour football game, that these people have to deal with this now.
Dude, it was like 30 below with the wind chill. I mean,
Just crazy.
like, I mean,
It's insane.
that is insane.
Yeah.
It is insane how cold that is. So, like, if they flash freeze a waffle, for
Yeah.
instance,
Yeah.
I mean, that's done at like 20 below.
Dude, I have the so at Iowa, at the University of Iowa, at their stadium, Kinnick Stadium, they have pink locker rooms, and I will never forget the shower after that game my senior year. We go to I never experienced cold like that, so I turn on the shower on hot, or if somebody left it running who was leaving as I was walking in, so I hop right under the shower thinking like, ooh, it's gonna feel so good. Warm up after a cold game like that, because it was like wind chilled of like negative 20. I get under the faucet of water and I start screaming because your nerves are all reactivating and they're all sensitive. And I'm like, and I ran out of there. I was like, there's no way. I don't know what to do.
That's when when people have hypothermia, they have to bring them back slow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
You got to
they
go
start,
like room temperature water, and then as it gets better and
Gotcha.
better and better, you go hot. It's like getting in a hot tub on a really cold night. You get the pins and needles.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, but like times 10,000. It was insane. We asked earlier in the show, based on the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, what is your most Larry David complaint you can think of? We related this to the Padres, but it's really spun off from there in a big way. Some people had complaints about the Padres. Many people have complaints about many different things. The talkback feature, I'm pretty sure on the free iHeartRadio app, that little microphone button where you can leave us a voicemail is now broken. We've gotten so many of these. Fletch, can you play a new one?
I heard you mention waffle.
Have you heard the Jamba Juice waffles? Have you ever had those?
No,
Jamba Juice
No.
waffles are square, and they
Yeah.
are awesome.
no. Hold on.
Wait, a round waffle tastes better than a square waffle.
I agree with this.
Wait, a Belgian
Yeah.
waffle is delicious.
Those are the round ones, right?
No. Those are
That's
the
just
big
the type
fluffy,
of batter.
the big fluffy square ones.
Yeah. Well, what doesn't? It's just the Belgian
Oh,
waffle.
I
is
guess
just
I've had
whatever
them
the
circular.
batter
I've had
is.
them circular.
I've
Yeah.
had both ways. I like waffles. Waffles like a top breakfast food for me, right underneath French toast. But I like a square waffle. I like a round waffle. What's the difference, TD? Because you seem tickled.
No, I just feels like it should be round. It
Why?
should look like a manhole cover on my plate. That's what the damn waffle should look like. By the
Caked
way,
with syrup. Yeah.
waffles rank low for me on the breakfast
Why?
items. I just don't really care
They
for
have
them.
like individual syrup containers on
Yeah,
them.
I know, but when you like spread the butter on and
Mm,
and it doesn't spread evenly, like if the butter's too cold,
all right.
and then all of a sudden you start to get these like
you got a
butter
butter
chunks
problem.
in them.
You don't have a waffle problem.
Well, because you know what's funny is like I don't use a lot of
point.
syrup.
It's a good point.
Whipped butter works best on stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I also don't like the crunchiness of the waffle. Like I think the pancake is far superior than a waffle.
You guys are also going to make fun of me, but in Italian households, you leave the butter out.
Yeah.
Like you just leave it on the table. You don't refrigerate it. And
Okay.
so the butter's always ready to go on waffles.
So I actually do that at
Yeah,
my
we do
house
that.
too.
Real butter.
Yeah.
it's the way to go.
Yeah. Put butter on the. I don't even know real butter. Or, yeah, I guess real butter.
Real butter.
Yeah. The stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Butter
real-
stays on the counter. It doesn't need to go in the fridge.
I've
Well-
never
well-
refrigerated butter.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some questions to that, but I leave mine out as well. Just in case we have like a package of Hawaiian rolls that are sitting out that you,
You never
go,
know when you're going to
you
eat a
know what?
piece of toast
Yeah.
or a
I'm preaching
waffle.
to the choir.
So
A waffle I can pass on. I'm telling you.
Here's the deal. I do agree a hot cake or a pancake superior to a waffle. However, like Fletch just said, you don't have a waffle problem with the butter. You have a butter problem. Here's a tip. Quick tip. Okay. Take a little butter. I mean, whether it's room temp or it's out of the fridge, throw it in the microwave for like 30 seconds, get it melted completely.
Right.
Mhm.
Mix a little extra salt into the hot, now liquefied butter.
Okay.
And then pour it over the top of your waffle. I'm telling you right now, you add that with a little syrup. I'm talking 100% Canadian maple or Vermont.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
How about some 7 caves?
you won't be able to stand up for hours. 4. And you should consult the doctor if that's the case.
Yeah, I love waffles. Waffles are tops for me, dude. Because
Well-
you go by the quadrants, right? So this quadrant can have a little peanut butter on it. This quadrant can just be syrup. This one could be syrup and sugar. What are they called?
Powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar.
Yeah,
And then
confectionery
this
sugar.
quadrant could be just butter. You got all 4 options right
Like, I mean, so like if I was going top breakfast meals for me, it would be biscuits and gravy.
Wow.
there. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, look at me.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's That's a strong pull right there.
And then I would go French toast. And then I would probably go Egg McMuffin. Like I might go to McDonald's afterwards.
Wow. We just took a hard left. We're like,
I'm just saying.
we're getting out of the kitchen. We're getting into the drive-through line.
That's how strong an Egg McMuffin is.
All right. If you think this has gone off the rails, wait till you hear bottom of the barrel today. Wait till you hear what we have for you coming up next. Before we run, 877-767-4760. If you want to win Shamrock tickets, you got to call in exactly 2 minutes at 8:46. If you want to go to Shamrock with a buddy, you just go ahead and call on 877-SORG-760. It's that simple. First caller wins them. First caller.
There it is.
But you got to wait till Fletch will hang up on you if you call any sooner than 8:46. That's how this works.
You did it.
Okay. Also, I want to talk to everybody about my dentist. Not a lot of people are like, oh, I love my dentist. I do. Dr. Jordan Colby has been a lifesaver for me, and I really mean that when I say it. I was missing 4 teeth. I needed a tooth extraction. I was already missing 3 molars that I needed replaced. I got all of that work done at Ocean View Dental. It was unbelievable. I was worried about this procedure. I was told by other dentists it would take 1.5 years. It would take multiple visits to multiple other oral surgery clinics and dentist office and imaging centers. And it sounded like a real headache. And then you start going down the path of like your insurance and how confusing all that gets, dealing with out of network, in network. It was a nightmare. I go to Ocean View Dental. And it was like a dream come true. I sat down with Dr. Jordan Colby, explained the whole procedure. I was 100% confident that he was my guy. He's also 100% confident that he could deliver you a healthy smile in a day, regardless of your situation. People come from all over Southern California to his doorstep at Ocean View Dental to get their work done because he's that good. You should check out the website, oceanviewdental.net. They have after pictures. People will walk in with the worst of situations with their mouth, and they walk away with pearly whites, man. It's unbelievable. He's a miracle worker. I can't speak highly of him enough. If you're considering a new dentist, go to oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net. One more time, oceanviewdental.net. He was 450 pounds and lured back to Wisconsin using Oreo cookies. You'll hear about him coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We continue on Eagle Watch, Lake Big Bear Eagle Cam live in the studio. We have, I can't tell if it's snowing or if the wind is whipping some snow from nearby limbs and branches from trees as these eagles are nested 145 feet above the lake.
He looks ticked off.
He doesn't look happy.
Yeah. He's like, hey, can we turn down this wind? I'm trying to do a job here, bro.
Yeah.
You want nature or not?
He did stand up and readjust there. I still don't see any little eaglets. Like I don't even see like a full crack.
Yeah. No, we're
I mean, hopefully some of the little Scotties can make their way out of the eggs on a bar card Friday.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think they're called Scotties,
But yeah, I think they're little Scotties.
I don't. You just sort of said that because
the biggest waste of a morning monologue I've ever heard.
Wait, what are you talking about? There's little Scotty Pippins, and we have to watch it. If I say it enough, it will make it into the into the science books.
Can I ask you, does it sound like really hypocritical to have like if we're going to refer to this animal the right way, you would say Bacon's pig.
Right.
So Kevin Bacon
right
owns a pig and it's 450 pounds.
Well,
and
I think the name of it is Kevin Bacon.
Wait a second. I completely misread
Wait,
this
it's
article.
not Kevin Bacon's pig.
No.
The pig is named Kevin Bacon.
That is
You kidding me? That makes this story way better. So some farmer owns a pig.
Yeah.
And went, you know what that pig looks like? You guys ever see? So he names him Kevin Bacon.
Right.
And then this pig just escapes the farm.
This is out in Wisconsin.
And the only way they could get the pig back to the farm is Oreo cookies.
It'd work on me.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. Life gets pretty simple when you really just boil it down to like the necessities.
Yeah.
If I somehow, like, if you guys are like, yeah, Rich has lost his mind. It's the early stages of dementia. Too much time playing football. If you're trying to get me back in the house, like he left not wearing any pants. Oreo cookies.
By the way, pretty cool moment that happened yesterday. Reminded me of this story. We had a dog get loose in our condominium yesterday, and everyone could hear the lady yelling out, "Nilly, Nilly, Nilly." Like we could all hear it. So like I went outside, and then all of a sudden 3 other people came outside, and like we
some
had
people confused. They're like,
Yeah.
hot damn, we're going down, down, baby.
7 or 8 people opened up their doors
thought
to
you
help
said
find this
Nelly.
pup, and it was such a cool moment of community and brotherhood, and like
So that's funny you bring
Wow.
that up because
Wow.
there's this guy on social media. You can look it up and find it. It's the creepiest thing in the world. So he lives in an apartment complex that's supposed to have 80 different tenants or 80 different apartments.
Mhm.
I feel like we got about that at mine.
So check this out. He said some Chinese food restaurant down the street from the apartment complex left restaurant menus in every single one of the door jams. He goes, all right, so I leave, and he's doing the whole TikTok video. He's like, so I leave my apartment. Everybody's got a menu. So he's like, I put mine in the house, go to work, come back home. All the menus are still on all the doors in my hall. So he goes, "All right, whatever. I go to sleep." He's like, I didn't even really notice it, but I thought it was a little weird. Anyways, next morning, they're all still there. The next morning, 3 days later, they're all still there. So he's like, what the hell is going on here? So he starts going to the other floors. All of the doors still have menus. So he's like, am I the only person living in this apartment complex? He goes down to the parking garage. All the cars are covered in a thin sheen of dust he hadn't really noticed. He walks around to other restaurants. There's always this, like the same guy or similar looking guy dressed similarly, talking on the phone, having the same exact conversation. He's worried that he's stuck in the simulation. He posted his social media to have people respond to him to convince him that he's either A, not crazy, or B, not living in a
He's
simulation.
Truman Show.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
wild.
it is. Wow.
He pulled the fire
That-
alarm.
okay.
Nobody came out.
What? What?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Dude,
Also,
let's get him on the show.
yeah, no doubt. There's a couple scientists who took a regular, like they went and bought a drone at Costco and then thought, well, let's see if we can turn this thing into like a killing machine. And it took them 2 hours. Well, and they were able to program the drone to chase you down anywhere, which they thought, oh my gosh, if they put a gun on this, I mean, people could literally make assassins from drones. But here's the best part of the story, to me at least. The 2 scientists' names, Robert Lukowsko and then Linus Weenus.
Oh no.
Thank you to John Schaefer for jumping on the show. Thank you
Dr.
to Jim
Weenus?
Nagy, the senior director of the Senior Bowl.
Scientist Weenus.
Everything is up on the free iHeartRadio app. Go check it out. Download the podcast. John and Jim coming up at 3. Darren Smith at noon. Colin Cowherd's next. And we got more tickets.
Oh
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Final
Yeah.
giveaway. Outlaw.
Yeah. Outlaw.
Sucking on a chili dog at Outlaw Festival.
That's right. Caller number 5 at 858-877-7